Z is definitely the transporter, and he wants Steve to shoot me as transporter. That was like a little hint. Okay. I guess we'll see what the roles end up being. Could have been bad positioning.
That's gonna suck.
Okay, I know it's a lot of buttons today, but
Yo.
I'm not letting this one slide. We
Yo.
have a jester or an imposter on our hands because Avali did card swipe and we don't have card swipe.
Oh, that's such a sweaty button. That's a sweaty button.
It's not sweaty. We've been playing long enough. Avali's been playing for like 2-3 years. Come on, come on.
Well, also, Avali faked a task one time in the previous game that I found out wasn't actually a fake task because it wasn't a community task, and I only just figured that out.
I'm just saying.
God, I swear to God, these people have never been here for an actual release.
When we don't have card swipe, we're gonna have problems.
The evidence is piling up.
Wow, but in Avali's defense, sometimes I go to task and just sit there.
You want to know the extra sweaty part?
Avali just defend
Yeah,
herself?
let's hear the extra sweaty part.
True.
No, I want to let all the accusations, come in and
The
fly.
extra sweaty part is that we can
my
vote
dad.
for Avali because she might be Jester, and that would force the imposters to assassinate her.
Oh.
That's the extra sweaty part.
Bro.
I'll vote for Steve.
This is too much mind game.
Avali, your rebuttal?
Right now, my rebuttal is that I think Dumb Dog is trying to pull a
I'm
fast one.
terrified of getting assassinated, and then he's gonna say
He names
Z
himself
misfired.
Dumb Dog. Do you know why? He's gaslighting you. He's actually Smart Dog, okay? He's
Now that's
putting together all of
blasphemous.
these master plans, spinning this web.
Can we vote out people who hit buttons?
Yeah, let's vote out Dumb Dog.
Bye, dumb dog.
I'm just saying.
Bye,
Do
Dumb
you
Dog.
deny it? Do you deny the card swipe? Just deny it.
Can we vote out sweaty
All I'm
players?
saying
Dog is the
is that it's
Jester
highlighted on my
Oh,
screen.
man.
Oh my god.
Christ, man.
Hello, why are you voting Avali?
I don't know.
Doesn't want to do quests. Instead, only wants to level up dungeons. Let me know how that goes when you can't actually go to fucking Dalaran without doing the quest lines. You have none of the flight points. You have none of the dungeons unlocked. You have none of the dungeon quests.
Actually, I think this is gonna be the round where it's gonna be all glitched out. So we'll see which two people I can transport.
You're fucking broke.
Checking my upload.
I mean, dungeons works fine, but there's a lot of disadvantages to its advantages.
Steven. Oh, never mind.
I always forget the cats do more damage,
Oh shit.
like a lot more.
Dog's body is just outside of lights.
Whoa. Just transferred that. Fuck.
Well, I don't think it's.
Oh, the killer might actually think Ellen's lying about this.
Outside of lights, the door's locked and is just outside the doors.
Did Koji do this?
Die.
I got transported into lower decontam.
You must be Jester.
The doors are locked
Jester?
and it's right there, bruv.
Are you talking about like, you know, when the first door before the second door for the light?
No, I'm
gauge? Are you
talking
about there?
where the lights are, just outside the actual doors of lights. Not outside, outside. But
Outside
just
the light cage.
outside the light cage. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Am I listening to a comedy skit with two British people? What am I hearing? They're just speaking to each other, just saying words. They're just going back and forth.
London accent's a real thing, man. This is what's going on right now, okay?
Listen, we've cleared it up. Let's continue.
I'm glad we finally got
So,
there.
Pokey, you're gonna clear me because I went in Specimen, although that was just a prank and I didn't actually go into Specimen and I'm at the light cage.
Nice
So that's
prank.
why I was like, where
You
is
just
this
got
body?
pranked, bro.
Oh, that's a nice prank.
What do you mean a
Andy.
prank?
That was a good prank.
I let you watch me run in there and then I ran back out when you had left.
Okay, well now I'll never trust you ever again.
Well, I'm really-
Congratulations.
I'm so sorry.
I'm voting Koji.
I'll vote Koji.
There's a gun in his hand.
It is very threatening.
What more threat do you need? He's admitted he's a lying person.
What is happening?
I didn't mean it like that.
You've just given me the easiest Jester win of my life.
Yeah.
Well, now you know. Don't ever prank me ever again.
No, I think he's a killer. The fact that he immediately called out Ellen about that body location. It makes me feel like he probably killed Dumb Dog. Or he at least knew where the body originally was. which leads me to believe that Steve is probably the other one. And Steve's the miner. Oh damn.
Dumbass.
Wait,
happened there?
other body?
Who's the other body?
There's one near weapons, which is where DK just came from.
I don't think it's Pokey, and I don't think it's who else was up there? Z, was it you?
I'm in O2 right now.
Oh, it was fucking Ellen. Wait, you were just running with Ellen.
I wasn't running with anyone from my
No, not you,
perspective.
Z, Pokey.
No, I wasn't.
Ella might have been sheriff.
I ran down, I crossed DK, who was running up from weapons, and as I got to weapons, I got a report button, but I couldn't see exactly where, so I didn't get to press it before he also pressed a report button.
Weird. I didn't see you.
Oh.
You have a lot of vision, Pokey.
What? I
Yeah,
really
wait, no,
don't.
that is
We
kinda
crossed
weird.
each other from
Yeah, am I the only one who
that
can't see
hole
in the dark?
weapons.
Oh.
No, this was after the lights came back on.
I don't know. I
in
saw a
lights.
report button, so I clicked it.
Where is it? Is it outside of lights?
It's above. You know, to the right of comms. It's literally at comms.
Outside of comms or
This
inside?
just
Oh,
happened.
to the
I'm
right of it.
Kimmy, where are you right now?
I am in specimen doing Simon Says.
Very helpful.
I really don't think it's Kimmy. Well, actually, I don't know.
I'm still
But
suspicious
Steven,
of-
I was with you, Pokey. I was with you
Steven,
first round.
Steven, we ran out of lights together.
Yeah, I went towards lab. Where did you guys go?
So if anyone did that kill, it might have been Steven.
I'm
I
suspicious
ran
of
down
Steve
to
since
weapons
the
and I
first
crossed
round.
DK.
I still think Steve's the
Pokey, you
minor.
have my sword. Let's get Steve.
I don't know if I trust you when you talk like that. Do we need to vote on 6? I don't even remember.
We do.
We do?
Wait, I don't think it's
I
Steve,
think Koji was probably
I'm
bad
more
too.
suspicious of Ovally because of Dumb Dog.
Wait, if we vote on 6, do we lose?
Oh,
Hey, if there's two imposters.
Lose this one. You are so bad.
Although
DKZ, who did you guys vote for?
I
Who did
voted
you
for
vote
I voted for
Steve. I
Damn
think
it,
he's
people are
the
getting
minor.
that.
What about Ovally?
Wait,
What
y'all can still
about
vote.
Ovally, Pokey? What about Ovally?
Oops.
We back, baby.
I also want to vote for Ovally.
If Ellen was still alive,
that's
he'd
not
say,
good.
I was walking with Pokey, not a Steve. So, you do that.
Ellen was the sheriff, by the way.
Call a meeting.
Evan.
Oh, it's not over yet. Damn. Okay. this could be real bad. I mean, I can try transporting myself to Pokey. If she actually is the bad one. Alright. Let's say she's probably gonna try killing. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Ovally or Pokey, which of you did this?
Did what? The kill?
Top left reactor of this body's flopping
listen.
over. Ovely's running away from it.
Yeah, it's Ovally. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Listen, I was
No
transported
shot.
away from the left side reactor, which is where DK was, and then DK was killed.
No
So-
shot. Okay, you know what? No, I'm gonna say this. Who here is actually a crewmate? Just let's be honest. Who here is a crewmate? Who's
I'm a
Not
crewmate.
you.
Ovely,
answer the
what
question.
were
Who's
you
a
doing?
crewmate?
What were you doing this round?
Is it not
Ovally
clear?
was
I'm a
on the
crewmate.
right side, and she was not holding seismic because I got on the left side seismic and I pressed it before I was TP'd away, and the thingy did not end. So
Pokey,
it's for
let me
sure.
get a word in here. Let me get a word in here really quick. Z.
Why would we want to hear your lies?
Because here's the thing, I'm not gonna lie anymore. I don't want the imposters to win this game. I'm the glitch, and I've been doing all the work this entire game. I do not want the imposters to win. I'm the glitch, but don't vote me out. Who's the real imposter? Because I do not want them to win.
Oh,
I think the real imposter is the person that might have Wait, is TP? Is that an
TP is
imposter
not
role?
imposter role.
No.
That's a good guy role.
No, I think that's an anyone.
It's
never mind,
crew
never mind.
aligned, so like.
So the thing,
So anyway,
the thing is,
let's vote Ovally
yeah,
before I get more confused.
The big question is, can the remaining imposter assassinate anyone here?
Why would
Because
they want?
I think it's Z.
Oh, it's not.
I think Z's a good person.
I'm a good person.
Who do you think is the imposter then? Like, hand down, like hand to God, imposter.
Are we sure
Well-
there's even one left?
Well, oh, that's true.
there was
might
only
not be
one.
an imposter,
They called
right?
reactor, and there was only one kill. So
Oh.
I'm voting Ovally.
I'm gonna vote
It's
Ovally.
Kimi. It's gotta be Kimi. Kimi's
Yeah,
I'm a
the
good
imposter.
Kimi could be
person.
the imposter.
I'm a good person. I'm a
If
good
there's two
person.
killers, crew
But
can't even win.
nonetheless, I'm gonna kill you.
Ovally, you killed me on the first round. I'm an imposter.
I'm gonna go right to specimen. I'm gonna transport myself. Oh, there we go. We did it. Oh, thank God.
All the kills.
Thank God.
Are you
doing? I don't know. I'm just dead. Sorry.
Oh, Haku was the minor.
Imposters really aren't doing much here.
I was the minor. Yeah.
Oh my.
Wait, so it was
I thought it was Pokey and Obelisk.
It was. Dude,
Yeah,
there's
but
not
I
a single point to get a kill, I swear.
Yeah. But I was in OG.
Well, this is a bit crazy. I mean, we're at this stage in beta, and there's been no tremendous drama about what's coming to the game. Only a few small ones. So what? Dragonflight's actually bringing good things? Apparently its patch cycle is going to be more aggressive? Are good things finally happening? Well, it seems like Blizzard are finally able to pick up some wins. So, now that I'm thinking about that more frequent patch cycle that Ian mentioned, one that's likely supported by this 100-person development team they've picked up, specifically for WoW, well, here's a few free wins. Show hair. I mean, this one is simple, right? This looks daft. So just give people a checkbox to show hair underneath a helm. Make that something in the transmog window. Now, yes, fixing hair clipping issues. Here's a few free wins. Show hair. I mean, this one is simple, right? This looks daft. So just give people a checkbox to show hair underneath a helm. Make that something in the transmog window. Now, yes, fixing hair clipping issues in the long term would be fantastic. But right now, just put it in the player's hands. This will unlock so many transmog options that are essentially dead right now. Unlike today's sponsor, buyraycon.com/bellular, where you will get 15% off your first order. Now, these are the wireless everyday earbuds, and there's no wonder they've got over 50,000 5-star reviews. These are a great package, even before our discount. The look and the feel is premium with a great sweat and water-resistant outer coating. They are absurdly comfortable, and they're super compact in the ear. There's no big dangly stem. And if I was to shake my head around, oh, they pass the shake.
Oh, I just got caught.
Great for the likes of sports. Being half the price of the usual suspects is pretty damn sweet, and being in-ears that come with a few different sizes of silicone ear tips, you get brilliant passive noise isolation, which is a must for me. Now, Raycons have got 32 more work to do, so let's go. Another free win, right. Grid snapping on the new UI. Now, that might take a little bit extra work because the grid itself is customizable, but still, this will save the symmetrically afflicted minis a headache. What else then? Well, there's simple things. Map coordinates on the mini-map and the main map. Alright, that's simple enough. Then take the personal resource display. Not everybody wants that to be floating around their character, so let's add that to the new UI system, if at all possible, and give it a static location toggle, and then just open it up for some more customization. Who knows, do that right, and maybe people won't feel they need weak auras as much. Then action bars. Visual 5 is fine, but let's add some more, not always because of button quantity, but just for some more flexible layout options with the new bartender-like customization system. Next, here's a new idea. I call it quiet mode. I'd love this. Basically, my idea is to have a toggle that would automatically fade out chat when certain user-selected chat channels aren't active. Because sometimes you just want an uncluttered, immersive UI when you're going about the world. Hell, maybe someone could make an add-on for that. Next, options. Blizzard have re-implemented loads of features, like the player frame in a new modern way, so hopefully that means they've been made with more modern code practices and can be, well, changed up more, get more options. Frame height, bar height, color options, square minimap. Essentially, take the most core features used in the likes of ElvUI and then get to work putting them into WoW. Because I think loads of people would want the core Elf features, but they want an official feeling UI. Next, frame redesigns. With the player frame and a few others getting a bit of a new modernized look, it would be great if things like the character window matched, just for consistency. I mean, you can actually see a smidge of this in the new panel headers that they've made. Look, on UI things, I could go on for years, so let me know what features you would want, but there's a selection of great wins they could pick up. Next, I think we should try to merge a few things. Basically, I'd like a preferred mount button that I could just hotkey, right? That would be a little different from the current favorite mount button, because I would want it to be on a per-spec basis. It would be ideal if this could then hook in to transmog or equipment sets. The core idea is that your spec transmog and mount are things that often go together, so having that being an automated process that players could set up, I think, would be a lovely bit of quality of life. Next, a far more involved feature that many games have these days, and while the incredible Narcissus add-on cannot be beat, I do think that an official photo mode for WoW, not just the daft selfie cam, would be incredible. Take FF14, right? What it has the G-pose. So let us move the camera, simulate a few different types of lenses, choose time of day, choose weather, depth of field, all those things. MMOs are a social experience, and let me tell you, FF14 shows the value of having a feature like this. I mean, why not? For players that could farm out their dream MOG, why would it be bad if they could take an incredible photo with it, you know? Control their emote, control their facial expression. I mean, just look at all these things. These are made possible with FF14's built-in G-pose feature, plus a touch of G-shade. Pretty sweet. Why not have it? Loosen up those MOG restrictions. This one's really simple. Could be a bit harder in practice, but look, the more the merrier here. There are so many cool combinations that just are not possible, and I really think that it's a silly problem. If they fix this up, it would allow for so many more options. In fact, Lost Codex made a mammoth 37-minute long video that dives into this problem, showing just so many cool examples. So open up Warglaives, give us more Warglaives. I mean, look at the Night Elf Sentinel characters that have been in the game for such a long time. Let Shamans mog a one-handed sword. Warriors can use any 2H weapon. Why not let Paladins and DKs use staffs? Because some staffs would look pretty cool. And here's a few options that Jesse highlighted in his video. By the way, there are so many more than I mentioned here, so props to Jesse for putting that video together. Blizzard, seriously, this one would be a free win. Mythic Plus rewards just don't really live up to Raid in a way, even though M Plus is super popular. I guess at least the Creation Catalyst and its future equivalent, that'll let you get the new shiny Raid appearance in Mythic Plus. But we shouldn't stop there. I mean, if we're not going to do a whole new class set for every single tier of M Plus, would some sort of cosmetic-only set based on armor type work? Or maybe we could do something like the Elite PvP set? I think there should be something there for M+, because it is a main pillar of the game. Then take mounts. I mean, the Mythic Plus mount situation in Shadowlands was just laughable. I mean, just change that hue slider, bam, there you go, a new seasonal mount. So they simply must be better.
Yeah, they were fucking god-awful.
Rewards, though. I mean, tabards, battle standards, toys, pets, little boxes of loot, who the hell knows? I just think that Mythic Plus could do with some love given its newfound importance in the game. Now, of course, there are many other changes that I would like for Mythic Plus. We're going to do a video on that includes a more high-end gameplay perspective. But for me, even things like uncapped VP from the start would be nice. And I'm not the person who would go sweaty and, I don't know, exploit that to gear up too quick. I just think it's nice to feel like you're always getting rewarded. Now, I know that some players could be complete sweat lords in week 1, you know, with VP, but, I mean, gear stuff is, like, gated by your rating bracket anyway. I just think it feels better. Now, you could maybe even do it if Blizzard needed a cap. Just have the cap be larger, significantly larger for the first few weeks, then remove it.
What do you see?
But I just think something like that's needed. Anyway, what would make M+ more rewarding for you? I mean, look, I'm keeping this video a bit more limited, but a random idea did just pop into my head. A content idea. Take a boss rush challenge, right? It just, you know, portal from boss to boss to boss to boss, do a random one each week, maybe one every season. You know, just a chain of bosses back to back, mix it up, have some fun, make it a bit crazy, who the hell knows? Kind of out of scope of today's video though, so let's move on. Final thing in dungeons, should we explore queuable Mythic Zero? I mean, I honestly don't think it would really be a disaster. It could be a convenient way for some players who don't have organized gameplay at the minute to actually dabble into that content. And, I mean, what would you lose? Week 1 gearing of an expansion could be a tad faster. There's always a reason not to do something, isn't there? But that's fear. What about the things we could gain? Perhaps your first queued Mythic Zero of the day could have a nice bonus reward like we had in the past with a daily heroic, but I suppose you'd have to be a bit careful to not make it into a daily checklist. Anyway, point is, when you hit that dungeon panel, you just see 35 anima, some gold for the reward. It's like, oh, well, why would we bother doing this? So they need to think about that. Okay, look, arena's not for everybody. Stress, game knowledge, they just not always want that. Plus, Many people, like me, prefer a big objective-based map where more than just your combat skills apply, right? There's a bit of strategy going on. I mean, obviously there is an arena, but you get my drift. I, even in Halo, enjoy the objective-based modes the most. So I'd love to see WoW do a lot more with its PvP. Maybe take a game-type playlist-based approach. I know that sounds a bit like Halo or COD, but why not? Here's the deal. Blizzard seem to have a massively high bar for adding new maps. I mean, it seems like for Blizzard they need to be mechanically entirely crazy and new, and I think that's not great. Because the tried and true game modes are just that. They're tried and they're true, and they're fun. So let's make some more maps for them. I mean, Gilneas is a 3-point capture map. Why not have a 3-point capture map set in the Dragon Isles? And you could sprinkle it up. Do something a little bit different, but fundamentally keep the same game mode. Battlegrounds are just fun, right? And I think Blizzard is really missing a trick with how little BG content they make. Plus, I think that, you know, because Arena is the true PvP mode in WoW, you know, it's how you get Conquest and all that, it's where the rewards push you, so maybe we need to do even more than just add some new BGs, make BGs be relevant. But thankfully, there is a solution to that. Solo queue rated Battlegrounds. I actually am fairly sure that Brian Holinka mentioned something to the effect of them being interested in this decently recently in the Dragonflight interviews. Personally, I do prefer Battleground-style gameplay over Arena, but RBGs, they've always felt a bit impenetrable, plus it's the sort of thing that maybe I'd like to do when I just have a bit of free time, right? I suspect loads of people are the same there and would love a feature like this. Now, sure, you'd have to make the matchmaking be reasonably smart to have decent comps, but this would mean that somebody said, right, I could sit down on a Saturday morning, I could hit the Q button, and I could go and earn myself some conquest. Now, you would have to have it be a solo queue only match-made thing, with only solo queue players, because having a bunch of randos against a pre-made would be kind of insane. But at the end of the day, these are concerns in other games like LoL and Dota, and those companies have solved those problems. As always, PvP just remains an area full of untapped potential. The team has clearly been tiny for a while, but potentially some good news is they have been hiring to expand that team, so, while not for launch, there's hope yet. Straight up, this is real simple. I'd like a time-walking mode that feels like an actual dungeon, and that offers gear that I might actually care about, and for it to scale an item level as the expansion evolves. Yeah, I want Mythic Time Walking. Now, do you remember the Mythic Dungeons from Warlords of Draenor patch 6.2.3? Essentially something like that. Those were just really fun and they weren't a time trial. Now, I just think that a feature like this would be more fun than the current ones. I think it could be a compelling part of gearing. And that could, you know, it could just be a more exciting event for experienced players. Maybe throw in a few achievements, some new rewards, and you've basically got a free victory where, for the next while, there is a new, harder version of all of the time-walking dungeons to do. And I think for a lot of people, that would be fun, engaging content that maybe would more feel like doing that content at the appropriate time. So, why not? Okay, larger feature. Old storylines. Scale them, be able to play them. That's what it is. Take the Rathian legendary questline of Mists of Pandaria. It had loads of great content. And it was literally removed from the game. Even though Rathian is a major character in Dragonflight, meaning you cannot experience his story in the game. You just can't. This is madness. My idea here would be to have basically a MSQ for each expansion at its sort of like end game. And you just go through that and, you know, through scaling and a little bit of polish here and there, you just go through the entire endgame narrative. Now, this is an initiative that Blizzard could do slowly over time, much like how the developers of Final Fantasy XIV are updating their older dungeons, trials, and duties to make what is now a vastly superior new player experience, even extending well into their first expansion, with significantly more of that work still to come. With this, you could even build it into some sort of lore walking style feature. You could put per expansion completion rewards on it. You could, using scaling, make it actually feel like relevant content for people to go out and do. Another one, right. Take the Diablo 3 lore pickups and just pump them up with steroids.
Keep your distance from him. This burden is mine to bear. May death bring peace from your madness, Leoric. Traitors! Even in death, the armies of Pandorus will still obey.
Look, Steve and his team clearly love building an in-depth lore and a world and all of that, but they also, as we know, bloody well struggle communicating that stuff to players. So maybe they need more tools, because they literally just don't have the runtime in terms of quests and stuff like that to do all their narrative. Now, something like this that would be done via completing content or by finding a new type of unlockable out in the world, it would give Blizzard the opportunity to make vastly more lore that is vastly more engaging. They could also characterize this. They could have these lore entries basically be voice acted. Now, if you were doing this from scratch for Dragonflight, you'd probably think up characters from each zone. You'd take a few characters from the Reliquary and the Explorers Guild, right? Maybe Bran or something. And, you know, you get these collectibles, and basically, you kind of unlock audiobooks as you go on. Obviously, not that full length.
Keep your wits
Now,
about
this would
you.
obviously not be for every player, but for a lot of people, it would be a fun collectible, and I think it would be a great way for Blizzard to put more of the lore in the game.
He said
And that
Blizzard.
surely would be a positive. Reputation tabards. Here's the deal. Some of us don't like world quests. So what about dungeon tabard reps? We used to have this in Cataclysm. A lot of people loved it because they could just do the reps when they were doing dungeons, but Blizzard felt there were some negatives there that, you know, it just made people want to do dungeons all the time. But I don't think they would be a bad fit for the current game. I mean, hell, I'd have them even work for raid bosses as well. Now, I'm sure that some players would find this to be like a satisfying thing. Maybe they don't want to do those world quests, but they can go pick up the tabard and they can get some of that rep. That then means that after they've done whatever dungeon content they want to do, they've unlocked a fresh new storyline with one of the reps that they've been, well, you know, repping with their tabard.
I'm out of range.
It could let more people engage with that content. Now, I suppose maybe you need some sort of limit in place so that you can't just do every single rep, like right the hell now, grinding out dungeons. But again, that's just the negative to think about. If you're to flip it over, what are the positives we get from that? Well, it would mean that more players would be engaging with the reputation system, and the likes of even the Paragon rep bar, I think, could feel a bit better to people. I think just about everybody who's played Bait is going to talk about this one. Look, dragon riding mechanics on old mounts. I think Blizzard could probably just reuse old animations and then add sound and visual effects on top of them to basically get dragon riding working. Now, this would certainly be work to do, but I think we need to think about this for post-Dragonflight. Of course, give people the option to have old-style flying if they really want, but seriously, dragon riding is so much fun. It's one of those things. I know people are skeptical about it. In almost every case, those are people who have not actually played it, and the people who've played it really, really enjoy it. It would be good if the game could be designed with that in mind going forth, because frankly, it makes the zones way bigger. It essentially does give us flying from day one, and the whole thing's just more involved. It's so much better, trust me. Okay, there's a bunch of free wins. No doubt I could probably make several of these videos, so hey, add some of your own ideas to the pot and we'll see where it goes. Till then though, that's it for me. Thanks to today's sponsor for backing us up on this video. Check them out down below. And with that said, I'll see you next time.
How can I do it to actually report the guild name?
It's too far away.
What business have you?
Last week I had LunaCon, so that's where I've been, in case you wanted that for that. I did a whole live panel at LunaCon, that was pretty cool. And the big announcement is that I'm now a Dancer main. That's right, I play Dancer now, that's what I do, that's sort of my main thing. Never played Red Mage before, fuck Red Mage. dude, imagine. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. This is fucking funny. Watch this. Okay, so red mage, right? Watch this. Watch this shit. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, so I'm attacking the target dummy. Casting a spell. Cringe. Okay, I don't cast all the spells, but casting a spell. Cringe. I gotta double weave all these. And I gotta go in for my melee comp. Fuck that, dude. Fuck all that. I could just be over here, fucking, as dancer. I just dance partner this guy. I make Donut Julio. I invite him to my party, and I say, "Hey, Donut Julio, do you want like more damage?" Okay, dance partner him. Do my dance. Okay, now he's buffed.
Everything has a price. Death to all who oppose us.
Alright, it's back up cooldown. And then he's buffed again. Oh. I really don't know what I was thinking. This is the class for me. I'm never playing Red Mage ever again. Fuck all you people needing reses. Just don't die. I don't need to cast anything, and now I don't die because I don't stop moving. It's the best. Dude, I bought an apple for this bit. It's a good apple, though. Oh, man. Wait till this guy finds out about Summoner. Alright, but I have to dance partner the Summoner. I am enjoying myself. Sarah, I'm a dancer main now. But actually, real announcement. Real fucking actually. Because I've only been streaming one day a week. And the real reason for that... the sloppies. I really need to do something about that. I'm just going to meet them just for now. Thank you, Mr. 100 Gifter. I really do appreciate it. I'll have something for you next stream. Or at least next time. Because I don't expect that shit all the time. Anyway. Real announcement. Pints moving house. Poggers.
So there was something that happened, of course. It's not all monogamous people. And I get like a lot of... What is this? You did!
Yeah, the AdMech are part of the wider Imperium. There are Imperial sanctioned psychers and Space Marine librarians.
True.
But no, the AdMech, I do not believe. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say they have no psychers, but I may go as far as to say that they definitely do not have any notable psyker characters in the game. AdMech on the tabletop have a grand total of 0 psychers.
Yeah, I would imagine the AdMech would not be terribly happy with psychers.
No, they find them incredibly cringe.
Mm-hmm. That's yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it normally be. Josh, what will it take for you to bring in Brew Out Foster for this in the episode? You guys have had Psych Room with a nice episode. Oh my god, so many people. So on the Barefoot Mouse episode. So for TTS. Hey, I love myself some TTS, but all that stuff happens in the background. Me and DK like the gig we got going on right now. Maybe we'll invite people, maybe we won't, but we will definitely not invite people based on the requests of chat. No offense. It's all about making sure you've got that chemistry.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
In the words of your mother, when you were born, oh no, cringe. Go in peace.
Thought you were gonna go something like, oh no, it should have stayed in the sock.
Oh Jesus. The question is, how did it get out of the sock to begin with?
Well, hey, I'm not a physics professor. Angelo Davis, thank you for the $10. What are some of your guys' favorite roasts and burns in 40K? Monarchia. Monarchia is both. It's a roast and a burn.
It's certainly a burn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and then what Emp says to them is like, "Hey, bitches, y'all fucked up," and you know, definitely Monarchia.
I enjoy Khan telling Fulgrim that if he attempted to fight him in a 1v1, he'd leave Fulgrim choking on his blade. Felt pretty good.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
I
that's
think
a good one.
up there with Khan and Mortarian's speech, where he's like, don't like, you've tasted the fruits of heresy and found them bitter. Don't drag me into this, brother. All the people around you are terrible. Like Angron, what an ally. Kurz, good luck. Like yeah.
Running down all the heretical primarchs. Yeah, that's fair.
I enjoy Black Templar High Marshal Helbrecht to imitate the Stormlord when he's like, "You are an old civilization that does not deserve to live," and Imitek is like, "That's funny coming from you."
It's fair.
Yeah, some good ones. And then most things Trazen are always wonderful.
Oh yeah, most Trazen burns are pretty solid. Do you have a window?
Trazen, you got us box seats to a coup.
It's a great coup. Those are.
Hey, get your G Stewart cult stuff going, you know?
Yeah.
Anywho, those are the ones.
Yep. Ragnarok852 with the $10. Damn it, here's my money. I got a Sazabi Master Grade Verka Dynamis, High New Real Grade, and Wing Gundam 0 Grade, and I got the new Real Grade Gundam on way. Damn, you really went in. Spent money on Gunpla.
Is that what it sounds like when we talk Warhammer? Because that was fucking gibberish to me.
Yes, that's probably what it sounds like to an uninitiated Warhammer fan when we talk, yeah. But that Sazabi is expensive. Like that's a big boy. I have that. I haven't built it yet, but that's a big boy.
A big boy.
That's a big boy. That's a good model from what I've heard too.
Let's see. Mild Hot Sauce. Thank you for that's a good name. For the $10. What's up, fellas? Y'all have been inspiring me to start a White Scar army because of your podcast. Excited for the Raven Guard episode. Let's go. White Scars are incredibly awesome and deserve more
and
attention.
underrated.
And underrated canonically.
Yep.
They're meant to be.
And in IRL season. Least favorite faction. It's probably still the Ultramarines for me. I don't have this overwhelming hatred for them every time they're brought up anymore, but probably still my least favorite. I guess favorite's still Thousand Suns.
Adam Brownhill, thanks for the $10. Least favorite faction. Let me say his name.
Oh shit! I read the wrong one. I thought for some reason I thought that was the one we were on.
No.
Oh my god.
That was the White Scar guy. You silly.
Listen, man.
Silly man.
Damn, I was gonna say I was excited for the Raven Guard episode too, because I like their jump packs a lot. And I like the jump pack faction, just flies around.
They are very enjoyable. Least and most favorite factions, though, for me, it'd be Sisters of Battle, with Night Lords taking the spot for Space Marine related. Least favorite, Graph World Eldar.
Not surprised.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what a take from Bricky.
No way, Bricky doesn't like the elves? No way.
Yeah, Graph World Eldar, I'm not the biggest fan of, but,
Yeah. Thank you for the 10, Adam Brownhill, even though I jumped the gun on your question.
Matthew Whitman with the $10. Have you guys considered using any of the books from The Dark Coil for the book club, such as Nightblood, The Reverie, or Requiem Infernal? Ah, yes. I actually have a physical copy of Requiem Infernal. I really badly wanted to read it, but then I decided I was going to read it, but running out of time because there's no actual audiobook version of it.
Oh, that would provide a problem, yeah.
Yeah, I would much rather have an audiobook variant of it if possible.
Yeah, it's so much easier to get right on the audiobook than it is to wait for the physical copy to come in the mail and all that stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's why we do ones that are on Audible. It's just so much more convenient.
Also, it's because not every country is able to easily get books or certain things shipped to them, so it's kind of nice to have the online version when possible.
Also fair.
But Requiem Infernal is supposed to be a very depressing chaos / sisters thing, and I'm very curious about it.
Yeah. Ragnarok 852, thank you for the $10. I got Sazabi months ago, and now I got the supplies to water decal him. Takes forever, but the results are so good. Hell yeah.
Sazabi?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
What's that?
Sazabi Verka. That's the Gunpla that he got. It's the guy from before. It's a big boy. If you look it up, it's one of the more popular Gundams in the franchise. But you know, it's good.
What about the big unicorn guy?
Unicorn Gundam is pretty fucking dope. Cause it has a destroy mode, so like it opens up and all these like red lights pop out, and yeah, Unicorn Gundam dope as fuck.
Me and my buddies ran a D&D campaign where the Unicorn Gundam transforms in front of us. Listen, it was a very interesting campaign, but it was a very interesting campaign.
How did a Gundam get into your D&D campaign?
It was an interesting campaign. I told you.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. If yeah.
What part don't you understand about the interestingness of that campaign?
Oh, that's right. The pilot for do you know what the pilot's name of the Unicorn Gundam? Do you know what his name is?
I do not.
Benager Lynx.
Benager Lynx?
Such a weird. I think that's his name.
Is that supposed to be an important thing?
No, it's just a weird fucking name.
That is a weird fucking name. I agree.
Benager Lynx? Like who like who hurt your parents that they decided to name you Benager?
Oh, it's Benager Lynx.
Yeah, Benager Lynx is his name. First name Benager, last name Lynx.
Well, don't be too mean to Mr. Lynx. Ace the Caesar with the $10. Hope you're having a good day. I really love the avatars you guys use. I wanted to ask, what are you each based on specifically, and why did you each pick them? I didn't pick my avatar. That was Shy's doing.
Yeah, I didn't pick him either. It was pretty much all Shy's doing as to what our little avatars would be represented as.
I mean, I'm assuming that I'm like some kind of librarian of some kind.
From all the books, sure, and I'm some sort of Admech Catboy. So.
Which is far more cursed, but you know how it be.
Well, it's not that cursed.
It's a little cursed.
Okay, it's a little cursed. A Daspasy with the $10. In the Fire Warrior novel, one regular Tau Fire Warrior kills dozens of loyalists and traitor Space Marines alone, and a Titan, then falling to Khorne. Think the town might be stronger than we thought.
You underestimate the power of bad writing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just because it happens in a book doesn't necessarily mean that the tower's strong.
Marnius Cal got ripped off a Khorne Lord of Skull's head, which made Shy want to scream. Just because something happens in a book doesn't mean jack shit.
Like in the Kane book, the Tau don't exactly look smart and or really that strong. So yeah, it depends on the book, but yeah, I don't think there is.
Yeah, Shy hates that comic a lot.
I mean, I do like me the 8, and I do like me some Torch Star abs, but no, I don't think they're stronger than we thought.
Yeah. Also, let's not ever underestimate the sheer volume and power of plot armor. That is a whole thing.
If your faction is like the main faction in a book, chances are they're gonna come out looking god tier, and everything else is gonna look like a weak little nothing. So yeah, basing like power levels of a faction on a book that favors your faction, nah.
It's more exciting when it's the faction you're fighting. Like, the humans look the scariest by far in the Twice Dead King novel, a novel about Necrons.
Oh yeah, when it shows just how much they can swarm you.
Yeah. You were up next.
Oh, okay. Imperious.
Oh, wait, no, you're
Mex.
not. You were not up next. My bad. You read the Tau one. Imperious Mex with $10. Hey gang, currently painting up the dark terrain for Kill Team. It's getting me hyped to compete at LVO. Have you guys seen or played the new Kill Team? Seen plenty, played none.
Oh yeah, I play Kill Team all the time.
He plays Kill Team all the time.
All the time.
He is so good at the killing and then teams.
Yeah,
Your
man.
gold is welcome.
I don't want to share any of my secrets because it would be unfair to the rest of the
Oh yeah.
community. You know?
Oh yeah. Totally.
You know, if I started giving away all the meta secrets that I use, you know, you guys would.
Yeah.
The whole scene would explode.
We gotta be real careful about that, you know.
Yeah. I gotta be careful what I tell you guys in my house. So I'm just gonna keep it tight. You know, keep it under lock and key.
Our lips are sealed.
Mm-hmm. Iron Psycho with a 1999. DK, love me and my ultras for who we are. I mean,
Are you trash?
I have a special can just for you and your faction.
I have a can opener.
Put you guys all into the same can, put you out in the driveway, a truck takes you away, takes you to the Ultramarine homeworld, you know?
Of Ultramar.
Yeah, that's where they put all the trash, right?
Ultramar?
I mean, yeah.
No, they put it all on Macrog.
Oh, that's right, you're right.
Meodrog.
Macrog is an Ultramar, goddammit.
200 Swedish krones, I believe. Thank you very
And I
much.
believe it's pronounced Macarage.
For your generosity, which because it seems to be about 20
Might be wrong.
bucks, so thank you. A long-time fan from Sweden, just here to fund my favorite creators.
That did not pick that up.
Least based ridiculous viewer. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
Non-Vitae Rex, thanks for the $20. What would happen if all humans in the Imperium were pulled into the warp by the minions of chaos? Do humans necessarily need to be in real space to, for lack of a better word, sustain the Well of Souls?
If you are pulled into the warp, you are immediately fucking horrible. You die a horrible, horrible death.
I was gonna say, you just get like ripped apart and melted, don't you?
You literally get your entire body and soul flayed by like warp currents. It's like you're getting hit by constant waves of acid. Like, there is no surviving in the warp or in the realms of the warp unless you're Caldor Drago, and that's shenanigans in its own right.
Was it the third Night Lord's book where the
Yes, it was. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yep, and then he goes chaos, and that's the only way he survived.
Yeah,
being outside of the ship.
Yeah, he turns into some kind of Nurgle possessed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot. Alrighty then. Okay.
It's a lot.
Google Space Station 13 video game. Oh, it's one of these types of games. So like a city builder type deal?
No. It's like a sim where you all have like a task and stuff on a space station and things of that nature.
Oh, okay. Way too in-depth 2D RPG. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's an extremely
Cool.
Yeah, you need to watch Seth's video. There's a guy named Seth who made a video on it. That's the one that's the most. It makes the most sense.
All right.
I don't know why I'm trying to herb against the bots.
The kind of person who plays Space Station 13 is a very specific kind of person.
Meme lords, like weirdos.
4chaners.
Oh no. Oh no.
Hey. That kind of person. So yes, meme lords, yes, degenerates, yes to all of that.
Yes. All of the above, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Bossman, 1886, thank you for the $10. What would you want to see in a squat mech or dreadnought equivalent? A squat mech? So like a dwarf mech?
Mm-hmm.
Like a League of Votan thing?
Mm-hmm.
Bombs that come out of their knees like bowling balls.
What?
That's actually really good.
You know, like little knee rocket launchers, but like these little bombs come out, you know, and they just roll around at like high speeds and. Yeah.
I mean, okay. I would like it to look like the driller from Deep Rock Galactic. Rockin' stone.
Rockin' stone.
Rockin' stone to the bone.
To the bone.
Brandon Kaufman. Watch the whole Text to Speech series because you guys. Did you ever consider doing an episode talking about that universe or no? that's not the universe is still 40K. It's just a joking variant of it.
Yeah, it's a parody of it, right?
Yeah, it's a parody of it. So
one of these days I'll probably. I mean, I probably know enough.
Go to the
about
island,
40K
start
that I
dailies.
could watch TTS and not be too spoiled, but I still don't.
It's
You should really do
Anarchist
those.
00 Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I said it's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, Anarchist 00, thank you for the 10 Canadian. Mandalore Gaming has a great video on it too.
Space Station 13, also very
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I want to make a video on Deep Rock Galactic, but I don't quite know when at what point.
Such a good game.
It's such a fun game. Sounds like Akuma, thank you very much for the dono as well. Actually, come to think of it, a lot of I forgot. So shit. Here, read the next dono and then I'll talk about it.
Iglis Momus with the 9.99 euros. Cadia only stood because they deployed Freddy Fazbear into Chaos.
Why don't you deploy?
A FNAF reference, dude.
Why don't you deploy a shower?
Oh.
Be ready for anything.
Oh god damn it! Lawful Waffle, DK and Brick. I'm making a set of samurai armor out of a cotton paper for Halloween. I need a name for it. Any ideas? Oh god. I don't know about that one.
You should call yourself the Kami Samurai, because Kami is the word for paper and the word for God.
That's funny.
But obviously context clues would tell you which one is which, but being a paper samurai, people might think you're...
Make sure that you're colored red.
Glory to the Sindora.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm never gonna get to what I was gonna say.
You might.
Maybe. Go ahead.
May I be
Dr. Homicide with $10. I recently got a new job as a night custodian. Oh wow, Warhammer's corrupting me. I'm like, wow, you're a custodian. That's the same in the real world. I occasionally hear a blood-curdling scream and find blood on the wall saying, "Get out!" But I assume it's my coworkers playing jokes on me.
Yeah, it's probably just them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No big deal.
No.
The dark times will
Yeah.
The Anarchist 00 again. Also wants to say I finished Outer Wilds recently. Let's fucking go!
Good
Best
game.
decision ever. Felt like a genius to figure out how to land on that moon. Hell yeah, right? It's the greatest fucking video game ever made.
The best way to get Bricky bricked up is to be like, "Hey, dude, love Outer Wilds," and he's just like, "Oh my god."
Bro, my cock is so hard right now. That being said, LeBron Jordan with the $10 asked my thoughts on the Thousand Suns poster, and I'm now very soft.
Shit, I haven't bought it yet.
Bro, I can always make you one. I'm gonna fucking.
The eternal sun guides us.
You live like an hour away.
It's so much more fun to do it this way, though, because it makes you so mad.
Kalimba, thank you for the 20,000 W's, whatever that is.
Cadia stands!
Cadia stands!
Woo! Is the legion's end?
Is that like one? Because it kind of looks like... Yes, it's one! That's Korea.
Oh,
Q.
Okay, gotcha.
Back to 20.
I think.
Yeah. Oh god, who said the? Oh my god, I'm gonna kill the man who just puts pussy on everything. Anyway, what I was trying to say was I've been reading up a little bit. I mean, we have some. You know what our next couple episodes are gonna be, but.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I've been reading up on the League of Legends lore lately. It's really good.
Really, League of Legends?
Why am I doing that?
Good, huh?
I'd say it's top 5, lore-wise.
Oh, that's dope.
It's up. It doesn't quite reach Sisters or Necrons and that for me, and probably not AdMech, but it's like top 5. Like, if you've ever wanted this, I mean, obviously we'll do an episode on them eventually. But if you ever wanted like a very traditional sci-fi, it's pretty up there. The name, like their names are all like conglomerates and like alliances and things like that. The leagues, like their lore is actually real good. It's
guess that makes sense because like their more recent like lore writing stuff is probably a lot better than what it used to be, like with how they kind of messed up the Ultramarines way back in the day. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's dope.
They're really cool. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Where we at?
Oh, I'll go ahead and hit the next one. Surge221 with a $10. I'm working on a fast food themed Space Marine chapter using Deathwatch rules. I want to kitbash a food truck. Which model should I use as the base? Do a Rhino.
That's a great idea.
Just do the classic Rhino.
A food truck tank for your fast food themed Space Marine chapter. I love it. Cuz Tyler, thank you for the $10. Just finished Darkwood after seeing Ricky's video. Just wanted to say thanks for the massive anxiety you put me and my wife through, you secret Eldar simp.
Okay, alright. At first I was gonna call you Omega Cool for playing Darkwood, but now you're Omega Cringe.
Them's fighting words with Ricky, dude. Like, you can't say that to a man. You can't say that to a man. Also, Chad, if you want access to our stream VODs, that is a perk of being a member of the channel. So if you do the High Lord membership thing, you will get access
Dipshit.
to the VODs. I believe, right? That's the thing we're doing, right? That's the thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Jesus, I thought for a second I was having like a fever dream and I was spouting bullshit. Okay, good. Yes, you will get access to our VODs if you do the membership thing.
Dipshit running around flagged.
Yeah? Is that you okay there?
In terrible gear on top of that.
I'm still so used to all the like Twitch stuff that I don't even fucking know, dude. And Discord, and you get access.
Look at me, I'm cool and dead.
Twitch is on fire.
Oh yeah.
Adam Brownhill with $10. I would like to thank you for introducing me to the Carcharodons and the White Scars. They have such cool lore. I agree.
1000% agree. Carcharodons and the White Scar are, one might say, pretty pog.
Victory lies ahead.
You know?
Remember the sun.
Pretty pog.
And flag is gone.
My doggers.
My doggers.
Yeah. Josh with the $10. So in every bit of the art, Shy is shown as a cherub or some sort of AdMech thing. What's her stance on AdMech?
I think Shy likes AdMech, but it's not her favorite.
I actually have no idea what Shy's stance on AdMech is.
That's my assumption, is that she likes them, but it's not her favorite. Yep, there it is. AdMech is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. She likes orcs the best, and AdMech is cool. Sure.
Yeah, there it is.
Your fucking guild name is something bastards.
Jack Frost with $10. Ricky and DK,
You're an
if you
idiot.
could bring any race from Mass Effect into Warhammer 40k, what would it be? Also,
Krogan.
Quarians for it.
Quarians. It'd be the Quarians every time. Quarians. I'm a tally simp. I'm a tally banter. I'm sorry.
I like to bring the Reapers in and watch them lose.
Oh hell yeah!
That'd also be funny.
40k would be kind of interesting though. I think that'd be really cool to see them like assimilate different factions and turn them into Reapers.
I was thinking more just the fact that, Warhammer's so overpowered that it would just be kind of funny to watch the Reapers just get, like, slapped by the Necrons or something.
Oh, yeah. I think it'd also be cool to have the Geth in 40k and see them try to, like, communicate with the Necrons.
Geth was my first choice, yeah.
Honestly, any faction from Mass Effect would be kind of cool to see in 40k. Like, there's not really a bad one other than, like, humans.
I mean, that'll be cool, but... Yeah, it'd be a little bit weird to assimilate because you really couldn't pick any Xenos because then they just did.
Right? Yeah.
Fucked up.
You get some really cool scenes of Primarchs breaking Reapers in here.
That's true.
Oh, right, you did Jack Frost. Oh god. Edisnedbed, thank you for the $10. I'm sculpting some Space Marine STLs on Blender, and I'm almost ready to start on the armor, and I plan on doing each legion for both 30k and 40k. Which legion should I start with? 1,000 Suns, free hairs, because I genuinely think they look way better than post-Legacy.
I mean, it's pretty
Especially
cool.
the Terminators.
It says... yeah, you know what? Yeah. Go ahead with that one. 1,000 Thousand Suns is there's the pick. They do look pretty cool fire.
Yeah, pre-heresy, Thousand Suns tournaments look so fucking dope.
Rasmus Fredrickson and Morally Misguided. Thank you both for the $5 donation. Appreciate you both. Your local Canadian. Keep away from me, bastard.
Hey.
Hope I hit enough. He didn't get enough credit.
Timbits?
Yeah, might have some Timbits.
What's a Timbit?
Donut holes from Tim Hortons.
Just donut holes from a fucking coffee shop? That's it?
Yeah.
That sounds like mediocre.
Yeah, probably, but I would give them for free.
Oh, is this the kind of thing that we're Canadians? It's like a totally mediocre thing, but it's a very Canadian thing, so they have to swear by it. Poutine is okay.
Poutine is good.
It's fine. It's just fries, gravy, and cheese.
Granted, it is probably a little overrated. Still very good though, you know.
Love the new poster. Now I have a Thousand Sun femboy, transgender flag, German flag, all on the same wall, and a says the Canadian, and a Nurgling plush to finish it all off. Now to play Hearts of Iron 4 while listening to my favorite podcast. Oh, cool! He's a domestic terrorist.
Damn.
If you play Hearts of Iron 4, you're a domestic terrorist. This is a fact.
I've never played Hearts of Iron 4. I've never played any Hearts of Iron.
Ah, well, it's a good thing.
He took right back off because you didn't get him. Ah, fuck you.
Let's go! Good for me.
I'm proud of you, buddy. You've really turned a new leaf.
Yes. DJ Hart with the $10. Bricky, that scene you were talking about that you claim proves Dorn can read was secretly Alfarius. It was actually Omegon in the middle of spying on the Imperial Fist.
God damn it. How do you catch me?
Dorn can't read after all.
Alfarius can. At least words that start with A.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You okay there? Oh, Jesus.
Yes, I'm fine. Just got a little bit of the sneezes, you know?
You got what?
Get it.
You got one more for the road?
No, man. Nope.
No.
My brain stopped for a second.
That's usually what I tell people after three sneezes. Bless you, bless you.
God damn it.
You're on your own.
You're a sensitive boy there, Tommy.
Alrighty then.
Let's see. DJ Hart. Oh, no. Vulcan Knuckles. I can't believe that during Sevatar's hunt on Space Station 13, he tore off some guy's butt cheeks and wore them as a hat. Yeah.
That does seem like a Night Lord's thing to do, actually.
You know, that's a reference to the Space Station 13 video. That's what someone did to him. It's a very customizable game, and one of them is off and wearing his hat. That is a very Night Lord's thing to do, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right.
He made an ass hat. Yeah. Made an ass hat out of him.
Yeah. He said, "Well, yeah. What an ass."
What an ass hat, yeah. Aestis Lupacol with the €10. Kadia stands in the corner after taking that chaos-given L. Well, Kadia doesn't actually stand anymore. It's just...
I was about to say, Kadia stands in a grave, no doubt.
Yeah, it's just craters that are kind of floating through space. Unidentifiable at this point, right?
Yeah. I must admit, it's actually pretty surprising that they destroyed Kadia. Just, you know, that's like quite a story bit, you know, like destroying Kadia.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Abaddon needed that big dub.
Yeah, he really
he
needed that big dub.
Yeah.
I mean, this person's name is Lupacol, so you know, it's not spelled the same, but it's very close, so it makes it funny.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah.
All right, Jack Kisane, the $10. Hey, Bricky, huge Voton fan here. How do you feel about the high chance Voton might be everywhere at LVO? You know, yeah, they're obviously extraordinarily overpowered and busted and all that stuff. I don't think they're going to like give some of the pros a real tough time, because the thing is about Voton is that unlike say the Orc Codex when it first came out, they could just like the orcs would fly up to you or like use your line of sight to kill you. The Voton still need to see you, and pros are really good at just hiding in cover and being good at movement until they can hit you first. So I think like Harlequin pros and Nid pros will be totally fine, and Voton won't take everything. That being said, if you're like a semi-casual or like a semi-pro player down to a casual player like me, I call myself like a semi. It's gonna be a bad fucking time. They're gonna be a problem. They do have some weaknesses, short range and slow movement, but yeah, they are most definitely very undercosted and could probably use a good 15% points up across the board.
Sit here and kill his shit because he's a piece of crap who won't do his own crap. Which is pretty normal, because most of the people who play this game are pieces of shit.
Supposed to come out soon. They might be goddamn nerfed before they even come out.
Ooh, man.
We'll see. I like their models a lot, though, and their lore makes me like them even more. So I'm gonna buy them because I think they're neat. But
regardless, you're not buying them for meta reasons just because you think they're cool.
No, people should understand that I do not give much of a shit about the meta.
I wish that's how most people approached Warhammer. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not buying this for the meta. I'm just buying it because I think it's dope and I want to make it work.
Oh, most people do. Most people do that. 99.9% of people do that. But I mean, if you're gonna go to a tournament, like you're gonna get some people who play meta, like it's a tournament, you know. Can't really hate them for it.
Yeah, I can.
Well, then read the next dono, you fucking bitch. I'll hate you too.
Whoa. Non-Vitae Rex, thank you for the $50. Yo, let's go.
Oh shit, what the fuck?
So, in the Dark Imperium novels, Mortarians plan to kill Guiler Man and pull all of Ultramar into the warp, but insta-kill every human on those planets? Or are worlds being drawn into the warp different from translation without a Geller field?
Ah, okay, that's why he was asking. I'm assuming many of those humans would eventually be either fucked up or taken as slaves or something, because there are planets in the warp. Example, Mortarian's planet that I believe does have like human slaves working there.
Oh yeah.
So that's a different thing. I'm not quite sure. I do not know the answer to that. The warp likes to be finicky and adjust what it likes to do based on the writer that writes it. So there are many possibilities for what it could and could not do.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird. Thanks for $50 though. That's the highest dono we've gotten in like 4 streams. Let's fucking go. Thank you.
That's a big one.
That's a big boy. That's a big
Just
boy.
die. Just die.
Thick ass boy.
That's a big ass dono.
Your existence is a soft one.
Yo, that's thick with 2 C's.
Oh shit. Let's see. Hector Garcia with $10. What's up? Shout out to Shy, fellow orc player here. So you guys have regaled us with a tale of Ghazghkull, but when are you gonna talk about Tuska Demon Killer? We've talked about Tuska Demon Killer. We talked about him in the Corn episode. There's nothing.
I was gonna say, I know about Demon Killer and how he's stuck in he's happily in Corn's gladiator pit thing where he just fights never-ending demons and he's very happy about it, right?
Yeah.
I want to loot that thing.
There's not a whole lot to
Thank you.
say. That's about the story of Tuska Demon Killer. There's not a whole lot else to talk about. That man's gonna have a whole episode on like he likes to fight in Corn's pits. The end.
The end. Yeah. I mean, great for him. I mean, it's a quirky, cool story. But unfortunately, it would be very difficult to do an episode on just Mr. Damon Killer.
Just such a quirky guy, dude.
He's so quirky.
He's so fucking quirky.
Spencer Saab with the $10. Hello, you 3. I've watched from the first episode, and your videos keep me alive during the night shift. LOL, Lamau says Karn the Betrayer. Will you do the other World Eater or Corn stuff? We did a video on Corn already, as we said. World Eaters, we did a video on,
also Angron.
Also Angron, yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Are there any other like named World Eaters that we've missed?
Not really.
A couple. I mean, some of the books, I guess, but like,
I guess we haven't done a dedicated episode on Latara, but I don't think there's enough on Latara to do a dedicated episode.
No, Tara was a side character in a singular book, and she's a fucking great side character, but she's just a
Oh, that's
side
the only time she shows up is in Betrayer. That's her only appearance.
I think it's only Betrayer, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I might be
I
wrong.
thought she was a more prominent character.
We are getting a World Eater Codex this year, so there'll be more lore there that I could probably go through.
Fair.
Dumbass.
Ruck Bad Git Krumpa. What a fucking guy. I love it.
What an orc player.
Oi, if you gits out to make the Zoggin best Moshudius Daka, what the fuck? Oh, what would you make it like? Asking for the boss. I tried it for a little bit and I gave up. Sorry, I'm not as good at it.
You gave it a try.
I can do a solid rockin' stone, but I can't do much else.
Rocking stone. Yeah, I mean for Deep Rock, that's all you really need.
Yeah. Wait, what's the best Moshudius Daka? What would you get? I don't know. Ask the Flash kids.
I mean, it need to have bolter cannon on it, and under that there need to be a chainsaw, and under that there need to be a melta, and then another smaller knife under the melta, and then it would need to have like a machine gun mag fed into it, and then it would need a
Blue Protocol. Oh my god.
Blue Protocol is the last bastion for anime MMO lovers. There isn't a single anime MMORPG in active development that looks even remotely promising. All we've gotten over the last couple years are poor performing mobile and cross-platform games that really look and feel nothing like a dedicated PC title. They lack the polish, they lack the depth, they lack the quality that only AAA budget studios can bring. And while it's been over 3 years since its announcement, Blue Protocol has seen repeated delays both nationally and internationally. We've all been...
I feel like this game, like Blue Protocol is like, a lot of people have wanted to see this game come out, but for whatever reason it just kind of, I don't know why the quality is so fucking garbage. It's really annoying. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know why it's taken so long. It doesn't seem like it's that complicated, you know? Holy shit.
High on copium, hoping year after year they tell us something, anything really, to confirm even a relative time frame, a month, even a year, that we can expect a game that provides us something to look forward to build up excitement for. And after today, we might have exactly that. Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment here to thank all of the absolute chads and chadettes that support this channel via Patreon. You're all freaking legends. Seriously, each and every single one of you. I would offer to give each of you a kiss, but I suffer from severe intimacy issues. Additionally, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest MMO gacha and gaming news, take a second here to follow Mrs.
Gotchas are not gaming. Fucking Christ.
This
Another
video
one to
is
close.
brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Check out Squarespace through the link in the description below. More on them in a bit.
And there's the one spare.
Not far outside the historic British city of Salisbury lies one of the most famous landscapes in the world. Wiltshire is where the great painter John Constable did his best work, a pastoral patchwork of fields that is the very essence of England. But while it may look picturesque, this landscape hides a dark secret. Fenced off from the rest of the world, a 30-square-kilometer research station sits beside a village. It's guarded by soldiers, the work happening inside its anonymous walls more than top secret. Its name is Porton Down, and it's the United Kingdom's secret nerve gas lab. Established during the chaos of the First World War, Porton Down was at the very center of British chemical and bioweapons research. It was here that mustard gas was tested, that anthrax bombs were produced, and that the deadliest nerve agent known to man was synthesized. It was also here that the government conducted secret trials exposing unsuspecting volunteers to sarin. Shrouded in secrecy, tainted with scandal, this is Porton Down, the most dangerous building in Britain. On the evening of April the 22nd, 1915, the German military changed the course of warfare. Previous couple of days had seen strange activity along the front lines at Ypres as German soldiers lined up metal canisters along a 4-kilometer stretch of battlefield. Finally, on that fateful day, the signal went out. The Germans opened the canisters. Slowly, a wall of yellow mist began to roll toward the Allied trenches. Whoever it touched felt their throat burning, their eyes stinging, and their lungs failing. Although no one in the trenches that day knew it, they'd just been caught up in the first major gas attack in modern history. The yellow mist was chlorine, and it was deadly. The Ypres attack killed 1,100 Allied soldiers and injured more than 7,000. For the Allies, the discovery of this new German superweapon was a little like getting into a boxing ring with an opponent only to discover they have magic fists that can melt flesh. In London, the British government immediately authorized research into poison gas, desperate to catch up with the German war machine. That September 1915, a site was selected. Situated just outside of the historic city of Salisbury near the village of Porton, it was initially known as the Porton Experimental Research Station. Before long, though, it would acquire its more famous name, Porton Down. The establishment of Porton Down didn't come a moment too soon. Just before Christmas that year, the Germans added phosphine gas to their arsenal. Although their initial attempts to deploy it were less successful, it would turn out to be even deadlier than chlorine. The following March 1916, Porton Down officially began operation, testing nearly 200 compounds for use as weapons. But while the nature of the experiments was deadly serious, the reality of them sometimes tips into the ridiculous. In 1916, not many people knew what they were doing with chemical weapons, not even scientists. So Porton Down's experts initially had a habit of making what we'd call absurd mistakes. Mistakes like unleashing a load of poison gas in a field and only realizing afterward that the wind was blowing in the direction of nearby villages. Even when things were intentional, they were still bizarre. In one experiment, scientists wanted to see if a man could outrun arsenic gas. So they hired an amateur sprinter, sprayed a whole lot of arsenic at him, and told him to run. You'll be glad to know that the answer was yes, a sufficiently terrified man can indeed outrun a chemical weapon. In July 1917, the situation in Europe, it was getting critical. The Germans had just begun using mustard gas on the battlefield, which was far less deadly than chlorine or phosphine, but which was much, much better at blinding and injuring people. So the Allies, they decided to fight fire with fire. In June 1918, British mustard gas was used for the first time against the Central Powers. Over the next few months, thousands of German troops were injured by chemical weapons. Among their number was Adolf Hitler. In October, the future Führer was blinded by mustard gas developed at Porton Down and evacuated to a military hospital. Spoiler alert, unfortunately, he recovered. When World War I finally ended that November, chemical weapons killed nearly 100,000 people and injured over 1.3 million. Although everyone agreed the weapons were immoral, there was no arguing with figures like that. Which may be why, in the 1920s, the British government passed a bill to keep Porton Down operational. And, well, it was lucky they did so. In just a few short years, scientists were going to make a discovery that would take chemical warfare into an even darker era. In 1936, an obscure German scientist named Gerhard Schrader very nearly caused a catastrophic industrial accident. Schrader was working on a new class of pesticide for IG Farben when he accidentally spilled a couple of drops. In no time at all, Schrader's eyes were watering, his skin was slick with sweat, and he was having trouble breathing. Freakier still, his pupils had contracted until they were just tiny dots, making the brightly lit lab seem as dark as time. Schrader didn't know it, but it just simultaneously discovered and poisoned himself with history's first nerve agent. As chemicals go, nerve agents are almost uniquely terrifying. Our muscles contract when acetylchlorine is released. Normally they relax again when the enzyme acetylcholineesterinase destroys all that contraction-loving acetylcholine. But nerve agents inactivate the enzyme, sending the body into spasms and causing suffocation. Fittingly for such a creepy chemical, Schrader's colleagues gave it the name taboo after the German word for taboo. You know, as in, oh, that thing is taboo, let's not make any more of it. Unfortunately, Germany in 1936 was about to be as taboo as possible. When the Nazis found out about the agent, they quickly realized it would make an excellent weapon. As World War II lumbered closer, scientists in Berlin began experimenting with Schrader's findings, trying to make an even more deadly breakthrough. In 1943, they succeeded. If you've never heard of sarin, just know it's the sort of stuff that gives other chemical weapons nightmares. A nerve agent so potent it can kill you gruesomely in a mere 15 minutes. When the Japanese doomsday cult Shinrikyo released a low-grade cloud of it on the Tokyo subway in 1995, they managed to kill 13 people and injure over 6,000. The stuff the Nazis were producing, it was infinitely purer. To use a crude analogy, the stuff Ohm sympathized was the watered-down beer of nerve agents. The stuff the Nazis were producing, well, that was 100% pure methanol. But not that anyone knew about it. Over at Porton Down, British scientists were still producing mustard gas, unaware that the Germans were working on the chemical equivalent of the Manhattan Project. Even when a Nazi scientist was captured in the North Africa campaign in 1943 and told his interrogators about sarin, no one believed him. A special report sent to Porton Down was dismissed simply as Nazi propaganda. It was a dismissal that could have ended in catastrophe. By now, the Nazis had built a factory in Die Herrenfurth in occupied Poland that was producing thousands of tons of taboo and sarin. At the Battle of Stalingrad that winter, Hitler nearly authorized its use. His generals, they even wanted to drop it over Britain. Yet, for whatever reason, Hitler could never bring himself to use nerve agents. It could be that he remembered all too clearly being gassed himself. It could be that German intelligence had mistakenly reported Porton Down was developing its own nerve agents to use in retaliation. So Hitler never flicked that particular doomsday switch. But while there was no sarin at Porton Down in 1943, that was about to change. Let's cut ahead now to April 1945. The Third Reich is in ruins, the German countryside in flames. Just as Berlin is on the cusp of falling, a group of British soldiers stumble across a huge stockpile of sarin. Barely 2 weeks later, Porton Down authorized the first trials of the mysterious Nazi gas. 56 volunteers were exposed to extremely low concentrations. The results were heart-stopping. Like Gerhard Schrader back in 1936, all test subjects became badly sick. The pupils contracted, some lost their sight for as long as 5 days. As one British official described it, the Allies had been caught with our pants down. Not long after, all other chemical weapons work at Porton Down was downgraded. From now on, the facility's #1 priority would be producing sarin. The end of World War II saw the Allies engage in a mad scramble for Nazi tech, often going to hypocritical lengths. Famously, Operation Paperclip spirited hundreds of Nazi rocket scientists to the United States, shielding them from prosecution in exchange for boosting America's military might. What's less well known is that the scientists weren't just involved in rocket design. They were also involved in the development of chemical weapons. Within months of the war's official end, the US, Great Britain, France, and the USSR all had active nerve gas programs. And as each nation refined their own weapons, they got more and more nervous about the other guys having them. Come 1950, the British government was convinced the Soviets were stockpiling nerve gas. Terrified of what sarin might do to a civilian population, they authorized Porton Down to start conducting intense human trials. Now, this should have been illegal. Back in 1946, most governments in the world, including Britain, had signed up to the Nuremberg Code, a prohibition on conducting experiments on humans that was created in the wake of Nazi and Japanese medical atrocities. But what was the British government to do? Sit on their backsides and wait for Soviet sarin to be sprayed over London? So the scientists at Porton Down began recruiting enlisted men to test their nerve agents on. Controversially, they didn't tell them what the tests were for. It's a mild experiment to find a cure for the common cold, was the standard refrain when anyone asked. Decades later, inquiries into the illegal experiments at Porton Down would reveal that doctors in the early 1950s felt no need to tell patients the truth. They felt that the nation's common good outweighed the rights of a single individual soldier. After all, they were being careful, weren't they? It's not like anyone was going to die or anything, right? That same year, 1950, 113 volunteers were exposed to higher concentrations of sarin in order to study the effects. Most came down with severe eye pain, headaches, and fits of vomiting. Despite this, tests at even greater doses were authorized. By the end of 1952, thousands of British soldiers had been exposed unwittingly to the nerve agent, some at doses that tiptoed dangerously close to the lethal threshold. In February 1953, that threshold was nearly crossed when one of Porton Down's subjects experienced what was called a serious adverse reaction. Yet, the experiments continued and the dosage got higher. On April the 27th, scientists at the lab dropped 300 milligrams of sarin onto the uniforms of 6 men. Among them was John Kelly, another volunteer who didn't know what he was volunteering for. But while most of Portendown's volunteers merely got sick, Kelly suffered a reaction beyond anything the doctors had yet seen. Not long after being dosed with sarin, Kelly collapsed. He slipped into a coma and nearly died. Although he ultimately recovered, it was the wake-up call the Institute needed. Orders came down from on high. Stop the madness. Stop playing God. From now on, doses of sarin would be capped at a mere 15 milligrams, 1/20th of what Kelly had been exposed to. Unfortunately, this was the 1950s, when the doctor always knew best. Seeing their new orders, the researchers nodded their agreement and then reduced the doses to 200 milligrams. Not long after, a 20-year-old RAF engineer named Ronald Madison was offered 15 shillings to take part in an experiment to find a cure for the common cold. Needing the money to buy an engagement ring for his girlfriend, he accepted. Now, just before we get into what happened to poor Ronald, I do want to take a moment to tell you about Squarespace, whose support makes these long videos possible. 2 simple things. Maybe you've got some idea for running a website or a business or a YouTube channel or a podcast, something like that. Just something knocking around in your mind as an idea. And well, the second thing is the only way to figure out if that is worth doing is to get it out there to the world. And that can be daunting because it's scary to go and try and pursue new things, but not knowing how to set up a website is not an excuse. No excuses are available when you use Squarespace. Squarespace allows you to create a powerful website for whatever you're up to. Want to sell something online? Yes, easy to set up a store with Squarespace. Want to do a podcast? Start a YouTube channel? Well, you'll want a website to complement that channel, and they absolutely support podcasts. It all starts on Squarespace with a beautiful template that you can customize to your heart's content, or you can start from scratch, move over from an existing domain. It makes everything super easy to manage. Don't start from scratch though, that's my recommendation. Use a template, like I say. No excuses. And once you've gone through the super easy customization process, there are no updates, there are no patches, there's no tech BS to deal with, and Squarespace also handle all of their website-y stuff. Like I say, they do podcasts, mailing lists, all of that good stuff. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/geographics to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. And let's find out what happens to Ronald and some other unfortunate people. It was 10 a.m. on May the 6th, 1953, when Ronald Madison stepped into the Portendown gas chamber. He was part of a small group of volunteers that day, all of whom thought they were testing a mild drug. As the men sat in a small circle, their faces hidden behind gas masks, the scientists went around them one by one, dropping 200 milligrams of sarin onto patches of their uniforms. At 10:17, Madison was given a dose on his arm. It's impossible to know what the young man thought as he watched those insignificant drops land on the fabric. Was he thinking of his girlfriend, of the ring that he would soon buy, or was he just thinking about how uncomfortable the chamber was, how he couldn't wait to get out into the sunshine again? Well, there's no way we'll ever know. As time ticked away, the small group of volunteers slowly began to feel the effects of the nerve agent. First came the dimming of their vision as their pupils contracted, then came the sheen of sweat lying slick across their bodies. Outside the chamber, the scientists watched unconcerned. This was a smaller dose than the one that had nearly killed John Kelly. I mean, what did they have to worry about? It turned out the answer was plenty. At nearly 11:45, Madison began to complain that he wasn't feeling good, that he needed to be let out of the chamber. As the scientists opened the door, he removed his gas mask, mumbling that he couldn't hear. He took a few steps towards a nearby bench, and then collapsed on the floor, his body convulsing. Just outside, 19-year-old Alfred Thornhill was one of the ambulance workers on call that day at Portendown. When the alarm went up, he was first on the scene. What he saw that day scarred him for the rest of his life. In testimony decades later, Thornhill described seeing Madison on the floor, convulsing so hard that it looked like he was being electrocuted. 4 scientists were trying to hold his body down, but he continued to twitch. A thick white substance was foaming from the boy's mouth, a substance Thornhill would describe as looking like frog spawn. By the time Thornhill and the ambulance crew got Madison to the on-base hospital, the ward had already been evacuated with patients, and now a gaggle of terrified doctors were waiting in white lab coats for the poisoned airmen. As Madison was placed on the bed, Thornhill saw them inject him with a huge syringe. One of the doctors lifted up Madison's bare leg. According to Thornhill, the leg was turning blue. Not all at once, but with the blueness creeping upward from his foot, like a liquid that was slowly engulfing his body. Moments later, a nurse shouted at him to leave, but Thornhill never forgot the sight of that flowing color, moving, he said, like something from outer space. By the time the clock struck 11, Madison was dead. He was ashen gray, his pulse undetectable. Although doctors continued to try pumping adrenaline directly into his heart, it was useless. The sarin had done its work, the very thing it had been designed by the Nazis to do. At 13:30, Madison was pronounced dead. In the aftermath, the facility went into full arse-covering mode. Thornhill was made to sign a sheet of paper and told that if he ever breathed a word of this to anyone, he would be thrown in prison for the rest of his life. At the Ministry of Defense, a conspiracy was enacted to record Madison's death as that of a generic accident, with no mention being made of sarin. As for Portendown itself, the incident finally shook the researchers out of their complacency. The recommendation made after John Kelly's near-fatal accident of using lower concentrations was put into place, but the sarin trials, they still didn't stop. For the rest of the Cold War, until 1989, volunteers were routinely exposed to nerve gas. By the end of the experiments, over 20,000 British servicemen had been poisoned. Even after Madison's death, many of them still weren't told what was happening to them. They all just thought they were helping to cure the common cold. So far in this video, we focused on Portendown's history with nerve agent. But it wasn't just chemical research Britain's WMD lab was involved in. Even as German scientists were creating sarin in the Second World War, Portendown was developing bioweapons to haunt your nightmares. The tests began in earnest in 1940. These were the days of the Battle of Britain, when Luftwaffe planes streaked across the skies and invasion seemed imminent. With time possibly running out, the British scrambled for a weapon that could disrupt German society on a huge scale. To cause such big problems, they turned to something very small: microbes. That year, Portendown worked to create weaponized versions of typhoid, cholera, and botulinum that could be used to spread panic in a population. They also experimented with diseases, such as foot and mouth, that could destroy German livestock. But the weapon they had most success with was one that could be used against humans or animals, with a huge mortality rate. Anthrax production started in earnest in Portendown in November of 1941. If you've never heard of anthrax, just be aware that it's one of the nastiest diseases in existence. The mortality rate when inhaled is over 80%. With a relatively small amount of the stuff, you could wipe out an entire city. Not that the British were intending to do this. Well, not exactly. Anthrax bombs were authorized only for use in the event that the Nazis deployed a banned weapon against Britain first. Perhaps Hitler was more right than he realized when he demurred from attacking London with sarin. Still, there was no doubting the lethality of the stuff that was cooked up in Portendown. In 1942, scientists decided to test the bioweapon on the islands of Grenade off the coast of Scotland. A flock of sheep was tied up and a single anthrax bomb was dropped. Within 3 days, all the sheep were dead. But the bomb was even more effective than just as a killing machine. Grenade was rendered so contaminated that no one was allowed to set foot there for over 40 years, and even then, only after all of the topsoil had been removed and the ground sterilized by formaldehyde. Were anthrax dropped on a German city, it would become uninhabitable for generations. Thankfully, that never happened. Just as the Nazis resisted using sarin against the Allies, so the Allies couldn't bring themselves to deploy bioweapons against the Axis. When World War II finally ended, the majority of Portendown's anthrax was destroyed. Yet bioweapons research didn't stop, it just got morally murkier. Let's jump forward to the 1950s. Portendown's sarin trials are underway, and the Cold War looms large in government planning. In response to reports of Soviet bioweapons, the UK decided to authorize secret experiments to assess Britain's vulnerability to germ warfare. Starting in 1955, British planes began flying the length of the country, ostensibly to monitor the weather, but in reality to clandestinely dump zinc cadmium sulfide over civilian areas. The following year, 1956, bacteria were secretly released on the London Underground to see how far a bioweapons attack on the tube might spread. And in 1961, ships off the southern coast started spraying holiday resorts with bacteria designed to mimic anthrax. The British government insisted all of these trials were perfectly safe. But there's perfectly safe, and then there's perfectly safe, but also totally creepy, and spraying anything that mimics anthrax over unsuspecting civilians definitely falls into the latter category. Yet even this top-level secrecy, it couldn't last forever. Before the 20th century was out, wheels would be put into motion that would eventually expose all of Portendown's dirty secrets to the entire world. Although Portendown gave up producing chemical and bioweapons in the 1950s, that didn't stop the lab from creating some pretty freaky stuff. In the 1950s, for example, scientists there were responsible for creating VX, to date the deadliest nerve agent in existence. Remember how 15 milligrams was set as a safe dose for sarin, well below the threshold for death? Well, just 10 milligrams of VX is enough to kill a person, and this isn't just theoretical knowledge. In the 1990s, Shinriko, those Japanese guys again, they used VX to murder a dissident. Nearly 20 years later, in 2017, North Korea used it to assassinate Kim Jong-un's half-brother in an international airport. Nerve agents aside, Portendown keeps active cultures of Ebola, smallpox, and the plague, all of which they test on animals. We actually found a report in the Telegraph that described how Portendown pigs were shot, rabbits blown up, and guinea pigs injected with a toxic nerve agent invented by the Nazis. It's quite the sentence there. But how the heck do we know all of this? How do we know what Portendown is? For a large part of our knowledge, you can thank Gordon Bell. A former serviceman, Bell was one of the soldiers who volunteered for the lab's sarin experiments, thinking he was doing something harmless. In the late 1990s, he began complaining about the treatment he had received until there was so much media interest that the local police launched an investigation. And just like that, the lid of secrecy was blown clean off. Over the next few years, details leaked out over Portendown's experimental history of the incredible, terrifying things that had happened there. It was during the investigation that the truth of Ronald Madison's death came out, that the true number of all those who had sarin tested on them came to light. By the time the final appeals wrapped in 2008, the Ministry of Defense had been forced to admit gross negligence and to award 361 Portendown survivors a payout of £3 million. Today, Portendown's name, it still carries a frisson of controversy in Britain, a feeling that dark things were done there that maybe should have never been contemplated. And yet, we'd be lying if we tried to paint Portendown as another Aralsk 7. Despite Madison's death, despite the unethical nature of the sarin trials, Britain's secret WMD lab has never reached the levels of negligence and arse covering that was seen in the USSR. In 2018, all those years experimenting with the nerve agents came in useful when a suspected Russian attack in Salisbury using Novichok poisoned 14 people and left one dead. In the aftermath, it was Portendown scientists who were able to advise on how to treat the victims. In the end then, Portendown is perhaps best seen as a necessary evil, a place that not so long ago indulged in some truly awful behavior, but which now has learned its lesson. At least, we hope that's the case. Because like it or not, Portendown is still home to all these substances: anthrax, VX gas, weaponized Ebola, and of course, sarin. They all still sit on its shelves, alongside vials of smallpox and the plague. Tiny little things, all capable of causing gigantic disasters. Not so...
Okay, so
You've done that before.
I have once in a while, but a number of years.
Thank you very much.
So, your whole family, you saw the Letitia James presser.
Terrible.
Okay. What was your reaction?
Well, she campaigned on it 4 years ago. It was a vicious campaign, and she just...
Okay, just to catch people up, just in case they don't know, Letitia James, who is the Attorney General for New York, came out and said that basically Donald Trump is guilty of fraud and overvaluing his assets. And it's not just him, but his children, who he appointed as like directors in his stead when he took the office. Basically, there's another problem on top of all the other problems that he's having. And so this is how he's going to address it. He's not going to address the issue. He's going to talk shit about her.
Just talked about Trump, and we're going to indict him. We're going to get him. She knew nothing about me. I never heard of her. But I saw this woman. I saw the statement she was putting out without knowing anything. And she said, we're going to get him. Her whole campaign was based on that. And then she came after us. We've been going over this for years. And I actually thought, because our values are really high, the company is great. I built a great company. You take places like this, so many other places that I have like this, frankly. I mean, just among the finest places anywhere in the world. I actually thought that they would never bring a case, and she brought it. And the reason I thought, because she didn't have a case, I was of the impression she wanted to settle. But I had a problem, because how do you pay something, even if it's a small amount of money, if you're not guilty? This was just a continuation of a witch hunt that began when I came down the escalator at Trump Tower with our, who would know, our great future First Lady who's done a great job and people love her. But we came down the escalator and it started. But I'm so proud of what we did. We're the strongest border in the country.
He didn't say a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. He's not addressing any of the issues, like,
Of course
at
he's
all.
not.
just
It's
like,
fucking
"We're so
Trump."
terrible, and we're so persecuted, and like, Jesus fucking Christ.
We had the biggest tax cuts and regulation cuts. We had the best employment ever in the country.
Hunters who don't use
We're
fucking
energy
misdirect
independent.
piss me
we
off.
did things that nobody ever thought possible. We would have been energy dominant throughout the world in a very short period of time. Much larger than Russia, much larger than Saudi Arabia put together. We were all set. And then they came along and they just dismantled that. They wouldn't finish the wall. The wall was completed. The original section was completed. I said, let's do more. We did more. You could have had that finished in 3 weeks. And now you have millions and millions of people.
We were gonna have a border wall. I don't even remember how far it is. It's almost 2,000 miles, I think, in 2 weeks. Really. And yeah, no. Fuck. I want to go off about like, well, actually, most illegal immigration come through the border totally legally, and then they just stay. So a wall's not really gonna do anything. And blah 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 blah.
People pouring through.
Debunking Trump at this point is just an exercise in meaninglessness, because anybody who actually believes him at this point is so brain dead, they're not gonna fucking be swayed.
The strongest border in history. And by the way, that included drugs too. We had drugs down 19% from what they were the previous year, and 20% from what they were that previous year.
Lame.
We
Drugs
were
are
doing
great.
and now the drugs are pouring into our country at a level that nobody's seen, and the people
More drugs.
who are emptying out their
That's also
prisons
not true.
into the
All
United
these
States.
issues. Let me go back to Letitia James. Did you ever in your life fill out a loan application when in the Trump organization?
Well, you know, we make loans, but I have very little debt. You know,
Here's what I want to tell you.
and Sean, I might add one thing. They've demeaned me for years with this stuff, and now they find out I have very little debt, very, very little, a lot of cash. We have a great company, and we have among the best assets anywhere in the world.
Trump with facts is like Gillian Epperly actually having a functioning and loving marriage. Non-existent.
Oh, that's cruel. You
It's
know,
also
her and
true.
Jason might actually really like have a strong love for each other. You don't know. Come on. Yeah. No, it's drugs being stopped at the border under Trump was lower. I would believe it. I don't think a fucking thing that he's saying is true.
The persecution narrative, and how it fuels him and his followers, is why I say, in this case, shooting at the king and missing is more dangerous than not shooting at all, even if the king is really bad.
Yeah. Absolutely, of course. Absolutely. And the thing is, like, I won't say that Trump is necessarily lying. I don't think he really ever paid attention enough. Like,
I've been watching you for years now. Thought I'd throw some love your way.
that is so sweet of you. Thank you so much, the Sinister Suit. That is very, very kind. I appreciate that. This is very sweet. Thank you.
But I went through, they were demeaning me, you know, constantly, these people.
He never showed his tax return.
There's something wrong with them. I really believe they hate our country.
I was told that in your financial statements, when you make a loan application, and you can confirm it if you know this or not know this, do you put in a caveat that actually says these are our valuations?
Yeah.
Because I don't know a lending institution, a bank, a financial institution that would lend money to anybody and just go by the borrower's estimation, evaluation of a particular property. So if you're buying a $100 million property and you're putting X, Y, and Z up for leverage, you estimate its value at this, they estimate it at this.
Right.
Don't they have a fiduciary responsibility before they give you that amount of money?
So what they do,
determine what the value is?
First of all, these are banks that have the best law firms in the world, the biggest and best and most powerful. They do their own work. They don't rely on us. But what they do is we have a disclaimer. And we put together, my people put it together. I would look at it, and it looked fine, but it's not overly important. What's important is the property. I have the best property. What happened, Sean, is we have a disclaimer right on the front. And it basically says, you know, get your own people. You're at your own risk. This was done by management. It wasn't done by, it was done by management. So don't rely on the statement that you're getting. And by the way, it goes on for like a page and a half. It's a very big disclaimer. It's a very powerful disclaimer. It basically says to an institution, you're going to...
Oh, no. They're bullying me. I mean, I'm calling them names, accusing them of crimes, but they're demeaning me. How dare.
fucking hilarious.
I will read you book low/drunk/high if you send me a full body cutout of yourself so I can keep you in my room.
Ooh, absolutely. That sounds pretty fantastic. I've thought it would be kind of hilarious to do full body cutouts. I thought that'd be absolutely ridiculous, but we'll see. I mean, I kind of like the idea of always being in your room,
Loan money.
watching.
You have to go out and make sure that, you know, you get your own appraisers, your own lawyers, everything. These are banks that have the best lawyers in the world, Sean. This is the only case, by the way, that got paid back. Just so you know.
Nobody got
I never got a default. No, I paid them back because we have a lot of cash. I paid them back. I paid many of them off. I have very little debt. Unbelievably little debt.
The loans off. So here's so there was no harm, no fact.
No bank, they didn't lose money.
So you told every institution what you believe the valuation is. They have a fiduciary responsibility before they give you $100 or $200 or $300 million to buy a property. They have that responsibility to come up with their own valuation because they've got their own bosses and shareholders that they have to answer to.
So they...
Yeah, that's true. Except, when you are starting to get into the level.
America is so base these days. We have had 2 presidents both that fit a description I can't use because it would be ableist.
Oh, progress. Let's go. So anyway, it is still, you can still be convicted of fraud, especially you could be sued in a civil case. Now I don't know, maybe somebody in the chat knows for sure. I think the AG in New York is pursuing a civil case, not a criminal case. In which case, you know, it's gonna bust up his finances anyway, and who knows, like, which is gonna be more harmful to him, you know, the destruction of his reputation through the stealing of top secret shit, the January 6th stuff, or if it's them actually hitting his pocketbook. Which does he love more, his self-image or his money?
They would look at a property like this. I don't even have a mortgage on this property. I don't have a mortgage on most of my properties. You know, I used to read where I was overextended and he had so much money borrowed. And I'm saying, what are they talking about? But
currently a civil case with a recommendation to the U.S. Justice Department. Okay. So, yeah. And that's the thing. If the IRS picks it up and the IRS runs with it, like, that's... You do not fuck with the IRS. You don't. That's how they ended up getting fucking Al Capone. They got a shit ton of mobsters by doing that shit. Couldn't prove enough for, like, regular criminal charges, so the IRS butt-fucked them to oblivion.
And actually, the one good thing is people see what a great company I built. I built a great company. A powerful company. A company that's very lowly leveraged with among the best assets anywhere in the world. I mean, you look at this asset, she has this down at $75 million. I can tell you, it's many times that number. She said, oh, he valued it at 75 or whatever it was, or she valued it at 75. What does Letitia James know? But if I were going, I don't have a mortgage on this property. If I was going to put a mortgage on this property, the institutions are going to be coming over. They're going to go through comparable properties all over Palm Beach or whatever it is, wherever it may be, Miami. We have them all over. We have tremendous properties. And again, we have very little debt. The debt we did have, it was paid current. The banks made a lot of money. She's trying to
Yeah, he's saying absolutely nothing. What I think is going to be great, so one of my favorite things to do, I am on TikTok, and I do fuck around on TikTok quite a bit. I love going to all the Patriot TikToks and seeing these dumb fucks with, like, hardly any goddamn teeth wearing a hat like this, always rap shades, being like, man, you hear what they're trying to do to Trump? You see, they're not doing their fiduciary, derringers, to make sure that his property values are... Hang on, I got notes here. And it's not right! It's not right! And these TikToks give me life, dude. It's so fucking great. These people who, like, work paycheck to paycheck just want to take care of their families, but they're so brainwashed, man.
As MRZ, Parker's emotional support white woman, you must do this cutout for mental health care. It must be done, Tilda.
Oh, yeah. All right, that's fair. Since you say so. But yeah, it's fucking great. It's great. Like they have nothing in common with him, but they're so parasocial that they'll try and figure out a way to kind of sound reasonably intelligent to defend him, and it's fucking great.
Defend banks that got paid off. She's trying to defend banks that had unbelievable legal talent. I will tell you that. They're very good.
You don't. There's no loan that you can think of where they didn't do their own valuation, their own vetting, their own financial assessment. All right, let me move.
By the way, they have people in-house that do it too.
Right.
But you can't just say, you know, here's a financial statement. But what we do is, here's a financial statement, but be careful because it may not be accurate. It may be way off. I mean, we go, I think it's close to a page and a half of all of these things. Get your own people. Use your own appraisers. Use your own lawyers. Don't rely on us.
Wow, a page and a half for a legal document for finances. That sure is a lot there, buddy.
And then she sued us. Now, again, I didn't think this would ever happen because they had no case. I met with them. I actually thought they wanted to settle, but I didn't want to settle because how can you, even if I paid a very small amount, you're sort of admitting guilt.
Did she offer you a settlement deal?
I could have said, in my opinion, I could have settled the case.
All right, we're just getting things started. Former President Trump is with us for the full hour tonight here at Mar-a-Lago. When we come back, we're going to ask him about the raid right here at Mar-a-Lago as we continue.
I'm going to fix the
Welcome
eye
back to Hannity reporting tonight from Mar-a-Lago, and here is more of my interview from earlier today with President Trump. Let's talk about where we are right now. We're at Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
Where were you when you heard that your personal home was being raided? And what did you think?
I was in New Jersey. I got a call in the morning from somebody that's here, you know, person works. Sir, the FBI just came in. I said, what? The FBI? Who?
Ooh, in conjunction with the lawsuit, OAG has referred the matter to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York and the IRS for criminal investigations. Holy shit. Okay, so what that means is that he's getting a civil case brought onto him by the New York AG. And then that means that they're referring it to the Department of Justice and the IRS for criminal investigations. That is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. How many government institutions are going to be coming for his stupid fucking head? Holy shit.
And they go, the FBI. And I said, how many people? Many, many people, sir. Many, many people. And I couldn't believe it. And they wanted to do it quietly, silently. And I said, what do you mean silent? They're not silent because I watched the way they were so horrible to so many people that you know and that I know that are good people where they just attacked them in the house. And they wanted to do it quietly. And by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we started getting little strange calls like from a group called The Media, if you've ever heard of them. And they said, something strange is happening at Mar-a-Lago. There are people standing at the gates with AK-47s or some kind of a very sophisticated gun.
AK-47. AK-47 is a tool. No. Look, if the FBI was running around with AK-47s, that would be very strange. That would be very, very strange. I don't think that's a thing, but whatever. They're gonna take his passport. I thought there was a rumor for a while that they took his passport because they were sure he was gonna run, but yeah, I don't think that was actually ever proven. Yeah.
And what's happening at Mar-a-Lago?
Oh, and I should mention this too. Somebody was saying like it depends on the rules for investigating somebody who's running for public office. That anybody who's running for public office, there is no protections. You can still be investigated. You can still be prosecuted. It's whether or not, and this is one of the reasons why it's almost guaranteed, whether it's a death sentence for him or not, whether it's going to work or not, he's going to try and run. Because if he can actually get back in, that's 4 years. He will, at least 4 years, he will stave off going to fucking prison. He has to try. He has to try. He's fucked right now.
And when I heard that, I said, well, let's put out a notice that we were attacked or raided or broken in by
took it,
the
they gave it back. Okay.
FBI. I couldn't believe it.
They wouldn't allow your lawyers to go with them as they went through this entire
They wouldn't
facility,
allow. We
22
sent
acres.
lawyers to the property.
So here's my question. They did ask you to turn off your security cameras.
That's right.
But you didn't do it.
That's right.
Will you release those tapes publicly?
Well, they've asked me not to do it because they feel the FBI agents might be in physical harm and danger because
he really cares about the safety of the FBI that broke into his house, I'm sure.
There is a fervor in this country. This country is so tired of this stuff. They're really...
Oh, man, I can't get enough. Please, right into my fucking veins, dude. More. Love it. Come on.
So I have not done it.
You could pixel out their faces to protect their identity.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Nothing about it is going to, like, be good for him if he does.
I listened. I said, look, I don't want... I really believe that most of the people within the FBI, out of the top groups, most of the people in the FBI, they probably voted for Trump. I don't want to have anybody hurt. But they came onto the site. They wouldn't allow any legal representation or representation. So they go into the rooms, like my bedroom, my office. They go into the rooms.
Your wife's closet?
Wife's closet.
Your son's
wife's
bedroom?
room. My son's bedroom, yeah. There's a picture of Hunter Biden and Barron Trump. Barron looks so innocent, and Hunter doesn't look so innocent. They said his room was raided, but his wasn't.
I'm sure, you know, Barron was very broken up about that. It's not like, you know, the immigrant maids didn't get a chance to clean it up before his mountain of an inbred son. Excuse me. His love child with his daughter. I mean, his perfectly legitimate and sound mutant kid came home. Jesus, that was hard. Fuck, how hard is it to say these things and be nice? What the fuck?
No, it's a terrible thing.
Okay,
Not even actually
so they
believable.
went to a magistrate. Merrick Garland has said, he came out and he said, I authorize this. Now, what's interesting is they went to a magistrate right here in Florida. A magistrate who had already previously recused himself from a case involving you because of he was prejudiced against you. Okay, I understand that was, months earlier. Why then didn't he recuse himself in this case? And then part two of this question is this. They took your...
Look at his weirdo body. Here, hang on. We got to turn the chat off for a second. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Where is it? I have too many things in this right now. Where the fuck is my chat? Chat. There we go. Chat box. Okay. Look, I'm not body shaming or anything. But... fucking Donnie got a padonkadonk. What the shit is going on with this? What the fuck? What the fuck? Smoosh this shit on glass. Drop it on the fucking hood of my whip. What the fuck is this shit? Oh my god. It's like, there's just so much of it. It's like a fucking, it's like a cliff, you know? Like college kids should be up there drinking beer and then fucking jumping off into like the water and shit. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. I'm not trying to body shame or anything. Some women will do power squats or literally get implants to get a fucking ass like that. Holy Jesus fucking Christ. I don't, hey, you guys are saying it's a diaper. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he got a big old booty. Donnie got a big old booty. That's how they say a massive dumpy. Wouldn't it be funny though, dude? Wouldn't that be absolutely fucking crazy if, like, secretly Donald Trump has just been getting ass implants for years? He just, like, that's a thing for his. It's a secret fetish. Like those dudes that shoot a bunch of silicone in their dick until they're like these giant glob monsters, you know? For him, it's his fat, dumpy truck butt.
Your passport, they took your medical records, they took your tax records, and probably the scariest part to me, and this is why a broad warrant like this to me would be dangerous. We do have a Fourth Amendment. They also took, what, 500 pages of attorney-client privilege information? Have you gotten that back, by the way?
A lot. I don't know. I really don't know. They took a lot. I think they took my will. I found out yesterday. I said, where is it?
Am I in it?
I think they took my will. It could cause a lot of
No luck.
problems.
No.
That could cause a lot of problems if that gets published from people that won't be so happy.
He didn't even hear a fucking thing that Sean Hannity just said. Sean Hannity just tried to make a joke of like, oh, am I in your will? Even like this god-awful smile. I want to see Sean Hannity.
I really don't know. They took a lot.
Here,
I think
hang
they
on.
took my will. I found out yesterday. I said, where is it?
Am I in it?
I think they took my will. It could cause a lot of
No luck.
problems.
No.
I'm just sitting here with my favorite person. He didn't hear my joke, though. He's not listening to a fucking word I'm saying. It's okay. I love him anyway. It's fine.
That could cause a lot of
Jesus
a lot of
Christ.
problems if that gets published from people that won't be so happy, or maybe will be very happy.
Okay.
But no, I think they took my will. No, it's a horrible thing.
But wait a minute. But why
They shopped.
this guy?
They shopped. They went to a magistrate that hates me. A magistrate that recused himself not long ago in another case because he hated Trump. He's a Clinton person and an Obama person.
Oh.
And I understand that, but he
That's weird because the Clintons and the Obamas hate each other.
hated Trump. And for a smaller case that was less meaningful, he decided to recuse himself. For a very important case for the country, he decided that I'll take this one. Now, he didn't do it because of his hatred of Trump. I don't know why he hates me, but he hates me. Maybe he doesn't like strong military, low taxes, good education. But he hates
He
me.
might like $6 a gallon gasoline.
Well, he's got it.
Wow.
He's got it.
He does in many
He's got
places.
it.
Let me go through this. Before you left the White House, please explain the process. From my understanding, what I've read, you have the GSA. They pack all the boxes. Okay. Did you pack any boxes?
No, they work together with people in the White House. I don't know how you would classify them, but GSA was involved. That's government services. They're fantastic people. And they packed them. And not only that, and they brought them in, along with people in the White House. I don't know who they are, but there are a lot of people working in the White House. They packed them up, but not that clothing, massive amounts of pictures. You know, they take...
Dude, this totally does look like a QVC set, doesn't it? This is wild. Holy shit. Could I talk about myself all the time like that? Hell no. Dude, I don't even... I'm uncomfortable, like, saying, like, hey, I look okay today. Like, no, this makes me feel all gross.
So many pictures every day, and they give you copies of all this stuff, and it's boxes and boxes of pictures, newspaper articles, tremendous, even kitchen things. You have tremendous amounts of different items.
Huge,
Much
tremendous.
clothing. I mean, shirts and everything, sports gear.
Bigly.
So all of this stuff. Now, just to show you, there are many pictures of this stuff standing on the sidewalk outside, not in the basement. Not in the basement. They're standing outside. I was going to say like Joe, but I decided not to because I want to be a very nice person.
What the fuck kind of shit is that? That's like that. That's kind of like that's the way somebody who's like fucking 12 years old would be like, well, I would say such and such and such, but I won't because that wouldn't be nice. You just fucking said, shut the fuck up. Who thinks that's clever?
But listen, John, standing outside boxes, all these boxes, getting ready to be put by the GSA, I assume, into a truck and brought down to Palm Beach. There was nothing that was hiding. And if you look at the Presidential Records Act, this was what happens. You get together with GSA. Now, you have to understand, they bring it down. But NARA, and you talk, and you work, and you negotiate. I mean, they did it. It's not that old. I think in the 1970s, exactly for this. And we were having very nice discussions, no problem. And then all of a sudden we got hit very hard by the FBI.
Let's backtrack a little. In January of this year, the National Archives Record Administration, I guess they had been negotiating or they came and got 15 boxes. My understanding is that they sent you a letter thanking you and your team for their cooperation.
They actually thanked us, yeah.
They thanked you.
That's
okay.
right.
And then so at that point, what was your involvement in the process? Did you ever...
Not much of an involvement, other than we had boxes. And again, many of these boxes had other things, you know, many, many newspapers, literally massive amounts of newspapers and pictures. But there were a lot of boxes for a lot of different things.
Did they take the boxes full of your newspapers and your pretty pictures? Did they take those? Are you upset about them? Did they take your scrapbooking supplies? Were you trying to do collages? What the fuck? What the fuck, dude?
But they actually wrote a letter, thank you very much for your cooperation, effectively. And we were doing that, which is exactly what we're supposed to do based on the Presidential Records Act. And Sean, we were doing that. And we continued to do it. And then we got hit by, it was really a break-in by the
Is it because it was so voluminous, the number of, papers?
Well, it was out. You have pictures of it. Actually, you have pictures of it. Pretty much, I think, many pictures of people. I think they were GSA, mostly people, some people in the White House, standing outside of the White House. Other people were coming up and taking pictures. If we wanted to do this, we'd do it through the basement, and we wouldn't let anybody take pictures.
See, if it, wow, this is a good OJ defense. If I would have done it, this is how I would have done it. But that's not how it was done, so obviously I didn't do it. What the fuck, dude?
We had nothing
Did you ever at any point deny any access from anyone in the from NARA or from the DOJ or the FBI access? Because in June, my understanding is, the DOJ, the FBI guys were here, and they saw a remaining 10 boxes, which they ended up taking in the raid. And a couple of days later, they asked you and your team to put a padlock on it. And that day, were they free to take those documents with them? Was there any disagreement about that?
You said access. I'm not sure they asked for access, per se.
They were shown the boxes.
I thought we were having a very good...
You know what I'm kind of curious about? Do you guys remember how Alex Jones, they accidentally, because we're waiting for Alex Jones to come back, but this reminds me of it, how Alex Jones' legal team was so inept that they sent an entire clone of Alex Jones's phone to the lawyer, who then sent it to the Justice Department for the January 6th committee. But in it, there was evidence that Alex Jones was sending nudes of his wife to Roger Stone. I'm wondering, because we know that Trump prints out his
Speak English. You dumb malfunctioning homo sapien blob of flesh and bone spurs.
We do know that he Jesus, Yami. We do know that he prints out tweets. He prints out all sorts of shit to read. I wonder if he was printing out nudes from what's her name, Erica Jones.
Conversation. Even when they went downstairs, the attorneys went downstairs, showed them the room, showed them the boxes. I thought it was a very routine thing. And again, if you look at the law or the act or whatever, the Presidential Records Act, it basically said everything that we were doing, we should be doing. We can talk to them. Now, when they're here, we could do lots of things. I think we had good security. We had, as you know, we had unbelievable people, and they're all over.
That was a weird glitch there. That's strange. Okay. It's fine that I stole classified documents because we had lots of good people here. What?
Mar-a-Lago, as happens to a former president, et cetera, et cetera. I hate to use the word former because I have a lot of problems with what happened. But the fact is, and we wouldn't be having all these problems that we have right now, by the way, with Ukraine and Russia talking about nuclear weapons now.
I want to get to
all of that, because what's happening in the world is horrible. But we had good discussions as per the whole Records Act, Presidential Records Act. And then all of a sudden, we were surprised. I was very surprised. By the way, if we don't have good discussions, if you can't agree with them, there's a process that you go through, and I think that the president predominates in the end. It's his choice in the end.
Let me stop.
You would be wrong, but keep going.
Up here. I started this show with a monologue.
Yeah.
In that monologue, I pointed out Hillary Clinton, which is I guess the closest case in modern history that this mirrors your case.
Except, yes, what Hillary did was stupid and wrong, but none of them were classified. None. Zero. She still shouldn't have done it. And fuck Hillary anyway. She fucking sucks. But Jesus Christ, it's just desperation.
Except
it's like they get this thing well, what about Hillary? Do they understand that most people fucking hate Hillary too? I mean, more people hate Trump, don't get me wrong. But most people are gonna hear that and be like, so fucking what? Fuck Hillary too, who cares? She's not running for president, who gives a shit, whatever.
Hers were electronic. And you heard Jim Comey, I just played it. you know, top secret classified information on our server. Think
Right.
of-
Nope. Nope. That's a lie.
all these email chains. Then we have the deleted emails, the bleach bit of the other 33,000 emails, the hammers, the devices, the SIM cards, all those things that I mentioned.
Right.
So we have a similar case, and then you heard James Comey say no prosecutor would ever prosecute. But they're threatening to prosecute you. What is the difference between what you're describing with having, they found apparently 101 classified documents in the boxes that they found. They found 11,000 pages that weren't classified
But
that you
John, you
had.
don't know what they found. Because they wouldn't let any representative, they had our lawyers, it was 100 degrees out, they had our lawyers standing outside, not even allowing them into a building where they had air conditioning. It's a big complex.
That's not true either. They did let the lawyers in.
And you had 100, you had a lot of people here, I don't know how many, you had a lot of people. They wouldn't let anyone inside. And you know, if you look at NARA, and if you look at the FBI over the last 10, 15 years, and if you look at all of the things at the Justice Department, what's taken place, when you look at what took place with the Russia hoax.
It is worth pointing out that the current head of the FBI,
Sean, they spied on my campaign. What could be worse? Could you imagine, take Obama, if we spied on his campaign, it would probably be death sentence.
his campaign was spied on. We know that. We know that his campaign was actually legit spied on.
They spied on my campaign even when I was in the White House. And who would think that this is possible? But they spied. So, you know, we're not dealing with a lot of trust here. And the public isn't either. The American public is really angry.
So then this is a big part of what I want to get into, and that is, okay, I mentioned, for example, 33,000 deleted emails. We talked about Hunter Biden's laptop. We talked about in that laptop, Joe Biden is implicated many times by his own son. He didn't want to pay all of Dad's bills. He didn't want to pay for his repairs. The big guy gets his cut. Tony Bobolinsky confirmed the big guy is Joe Biden. He met with, we now know, about 14 of the foreign business partners, which means he lied during the campaign. You don't see anything happen there. For 3 years.
Nothing's going to happen there. I don't believe anything.
So do we have equal justice
No,
in
we
this
don't,
country?
and it's very unfair. It's a very unfair situation. You mentioned...
Poor Donnie. Poor Donnie is being persecuted. I mean, look, the thing is, if there was something actionable on fucking Hunter Biden's laptop, it would have been brought up by now. It would have. There are so many fucking Trump appointees that would have been able to bring this up and actually press the issue. There isn't any. He likes drugs and hookers. Based.
The word prosecute, I don't think this is prosecutable. Under the Presidential Records Act, there's no retribution or prosecution. You're supposed to negotiate. We're talking about documents. We're talking about documents that actually are being watched over to a certain extent, and I would say to a large extent by the Secret Service, if you think about it.
If you think about it, right. Not that they knew that they were there, but because they're around, they're protected, I guess? And like it would, some of them were in. So the thing about these documents is really fascinating. They've been trying to get these documents back for a while. After they talked to them, like some of the boxes were in an unlocked room, and then the Mar-a-Lago people were like, "Oh, okay, well we'll take care of that," and they put a padlock on the door, and that's it.
I don't know how much Trump thinks a lot of people is. I mean, look at how many people turned up in his inauguration ceremony. Yep, a lot of people. Trump sugar dumbass plum. You can't draw faces on your fingers and count that as a lot of people.
I mean, I guess you're right. That's probably true.
But I can't imagine the word, you mentioned the word prosecution. I don't hear the word prosecution.
No, I'm saying they didn't prosecute them.
No, but I don't see how they could prosecute me. How do you prosecute somebody?
But they didn't raid their homes.
No,
they raided
they
this home.
certainly didn't raid their homes. They certainly didn't raid their homes. And when Hillary broke up all her phones with the hammers, and they did the bleach pit, all the things that happened were incredible. Well, you could also say 33 million documents or pages with President Obama. That's very questionable. 33 million, not 33,000. Happens to be a similar number, 33 million. They're fighting over them or arguing over them.
I don't even know what he's fucking talking about there, and weird. And kind of so I think this is where his brain starts melting. I don't know if this is the full thing because we've only got 5 minutes left on this, unless it's all just a rapid fire cavalcade of dog shit as his brain fucking melts. Because I've seen a lot of the clips and this is weird. But yeah, suspicious. Feed a little bit to the QAnon people.
The problem that you have is they go into rooms, they won't let anybody near them. They wouldn't even let them in the same building. Did they drop anything into those piles?
Oh, I see. So I had classified documents, but you know what? It's fine because it was protected, but also they probably planted evidence. Melting. This motherfucker is melting. Look at this shit.
Or did they do it later? There's no chain of custody here with them.
Yes,
Wouldn't
there
that be
is.
on videotape potentially?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're in a room.
Okay.
Oh, but you just said that you had your security cameras on, and you got the video evidence, but no, it was in a room. Do you not have cameras in that room? What in the fuck, dude? None of this makes any sense. Holy shit.
Trump is the master of gobbledygook.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so let me ask you this
Thank you,
question.
Dragon of the West.
Because I think this is the next logical question. Because the president of the United States, you, unlike, say, Hillary Clinton in her case, a president has the power to declassify.
Correct.
Okay. You had said on Truth Social a number of times you did declassify.
I did declassify, yes.
Okay. Is there a process? What was your process to declassify?
There doesn't have to be a process, as I understand it.
And you're wrong.
You know, there's different people say different things, but as I understand, there doesn't have to be. If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it.
Did you send it to more places than Mar-a-Lago? That might be an issue.
And there doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision.
Nope, that's not how that fucking works. Thanks for admitting to everything you've been accused of, though. That's incredible.
So when you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything. Now, I declassified things, and we were having a lot of problems with Nara. You know, Nara...
Maybe it's just me. Something feels off. Yeah, it does that all. I tried turning it off and on again. I can't really put my finger on it because I would die.
Fucking adorable.
This is a McDonald's slogan moment. Ba-da-da-da-da! I'm loving it!
The fuck? Why? Why is that a thing?
Yo, them John's nice!
That's fucking weird.
Salama Ashalanore. We will persevere. Hello. Watch your back.
The eternal sun guides us. We will have justice.
Anaria Shola. We will have justice.
Damn, I hate that Brewfest track shit that plays.
It's a radical left group of people running that thing, and when you send documents over there,
For as long as there's been crime, there have been criminals bragging about those crimes. Smartphones record our daily lives, and some of our daily lives include a whole bunch of criming. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Illegal Eagle. Today I stole 50K of Bitcoin and used it to hire a hitman, because it's fun. This is why you should take legal advice from a YouTuber. Remember to like and subscribe, always brag about your crimes online, and to the police.
Enemies will fall.
And I can't remember who said it, but it's a strange coincidence that as soon as we all had video cameras in our own pockets 24/7, ghosts disappeared, aliens stopped visiting, and police started shooting unarmed people. But while the phones may be smart, the criminals are still really dumb. So today we're going to cover some of the most stunning instances where criminals might just have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling smartphones. Now, selfies are not just about making dumb faces with the dream of gaining Instagram influence. Selfies also have helped bring dumb criminals to justice, like 19-year-old Albert Wilson, who stole a phone, took a selfie, and then tattled on himself by accidentally emailing his own photo to the victim. And here's how it all went down. One fateful Saturday night in 2013, Albert Wilson and 5 accomplices surrounded a 16-year-old boy in the Bronx, ordering the victim to empty his pockets. Wilson proceeded to grab the teen's Samsung Galaxy S Epic smartphone before fleeing with his fellow thieves. But the mystery of who stole the teen's phone would not last very long, because shortly after the robbery, Wilson could not help but test the photographic quality of the Samsung Galaxy by snapping his selfie. But honestly, that's not surprising. Hey Renee, how good was the Samsung Galaxy S's camera?
Well, Devin, Samsung is actually the perfect camera for recording your crimes. Unlike Google, which focuses its massive AI powers on computational photography, or Apple, which tries to do a little bit of both, Samsung has just always been all in on sheer optical girth. Just massive and multiple lenses grafted front and back with conveniently pre-crushed blacks.
That's a color correction term.
An auto-boosted SAT for all your ready-to-social criming needs.
There you have it, criminals. If you're going to crime, you should definitely use a Samsung. But what Wilson did not know, the phone was set to automatically upload all photographs to the teen victim's email account. And with a literal photo ID of the teen attacker in his inbox, well, the victim immediately took that selfie to the police. Wilson was swiftly arrested and charged with robbery, possession of stolen property, and a controlled substance believed to be crack cocaine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get addicted to crack? Did somebody get addicted to crack?
So, thanks to Wilson's selfie, justice was served. Now, I know that this is the least important part of the story, but I have to remark that Wilson has an absolutely terrible selfie game. I mean, just look at this travesty. I mean, the photo is hazy, you can see the phone's reflection in the glasses, and, you know, why are you wearing headphones? So honestly, 6 out of 10, though bonus points for taking a photo in front of a sign that says, arrest. Anyway, our next criminal might be even dumber because he posts a photo of himself siphoning gas out of a cop car. Now, when it comes to dealing with high gas prices, there are many ways to lessen the pain of the pump. Some opt to take public transit. Others have elected to switch to electric or hybrid vehicles. But one Kentucky man decided to engage in his own amateur oil exploration by siphoning gas directly from a police officer's car and then brag about his crime on Facebook. And I'm sure that you can guess exactly how that turned out. So in 2012, a 20-year-old Kentucky resident, Michael Baker, and his girlfriend stumbled upon an unattended Jenkins police vehicle. And seizing the opportunity for some free fuel, Baker proceeded to siphon gas from the squad car. And he might have gotten away with it, except Baker couldn't resist the urge to have his girlfriend snap a photo that showed him not only stealing gas, but also flipping the bird. And then he memorialized it by posting it to Facebook. Now, there's the old proverb that goes, pride cometh before the fall, and also only idiots post to Facebook. But this cocky Kentuckian was done in by his own vanity.
Wow,
After bragging
fucking
about his
dumb.
crimes on Facebook, the county issued a warrant for Baker's arrest. 1 month later, Baker was taken into custody and charged with misdemeanor theft.
Well, he was just standing there, and I thought it'd be funny, take a picture, and didn't post it on Facebook.
Yeah, we're sorry. It was just a joke. I mean, if we was going to steal gas, we wouldn't put it nationwide on Facebook. I mean, we don't steal anyway, but
And although the siphoning photo was removed from his Facebook page, Baker managed to keep his 380 friends apprised of his latest legal problems. Quote, "Just got out of jail," he wrote in one post. And in another post he wrote, quote, "Yeah, lol, I went to jail over Facebook." And in response to a friend who had not seen the image before it was removed, Baker assured, quote, "Yeah, lol, you just have to seen it. It was funny as hell, though."
So, I mean, do you apologize to the cops for it?
And then moving one state over, we have the Tennessee man who attached an Apple Watch to his girlfriend's car in order to try to stalk her. Now, Apple markets the Apple Watch as, quote, "the ultimate choice for a healthy life." Now, the Apple Watch boasts a variety of health and safety features for its users. The Apple Watch can track your heart rate, track your workouts, can even be used with AirTags to track items you might have misplaced. Items like your girlfriend. Yeah, unfortunately, a Nashville man decided to use the Apple Watch for nefarious purposes, to track his girlfriend's every move and stalk her with the watch's location technology. Now, thankfully, police were able to intervene before anything dire happened. According to the March 2022 affidavit, Welch's girlfriend visited the Family Service Center, a domestic violence shelter, to seek a restraining order against him. Now, police officers were summoned to the Family Safety Center after security informed them of Welch's presence. But remember, tracking goes both ways. When the police inspected the victim's car, they found an Apple Watch attached to the spokes of the car's wheels. And they were able to link that to the person who was trying to track her. But funny story, this is actually very similar to how I keep track of Renee Ritchie at all times.
I've been using an Apple Watch all day, every day.
But then there's the Ohio man who sent in a selfie of himself to police to replace the terrible mugshot that they took of him. These friggin' people. Anyway, you know, when most people get a bad picture, whether it's on a driver's license or for a school photo, you know, they just take the loss and hope for a better picture the next time around. But Ohio man Donald Chip Pugh learned the hard way that when you're on the run from the law, maybe that's not the best time to contact the police to complain about your mugshot.
Pablo didn't know it then, but this mugshot was going to cause him a lot of grief down the line.
Unless your goal is to assist the police with your capture, which of course is exactly what happened in this particular case. In 2016, Pugh was scheduled to appear in court for a pending DUI charge in Lima, Ohio. And when Pugh skipped his hearing, local police posted a mugshot on Facebook to solicit the public's help in tracking him down. Quote, "Mr. Pugh is also currently a person of interest in several other cases, including for arson and vandalism." Now, Pugh saw his mugshot and was furious not that the police were trying to track him down or that he committed multiple crimes, but that his picture had failed to capture his good side. So Pugh took the initiative, dressed himself up in a houndstooth patterned suit, not unlike the one that I'm wearing right now, put on some sunglasses and texted the police, "Here's a better photo, that one is terrible," with an accompanying selfie. Now, Pugh was no stranger to the Lima Police Department, having had previous run-ins that included charges of disorderly conduct, breaking and entering, and domestic violence. But this was the first time that Pugh had ever reached out to the police while they had an active arrest warrant for his arrest. Now, the Lima police honored Pugh's request, uploading his new mugshot to Facebook and writing, quote, "We thank him for being helpful, but now we would appreciate it if he would come speak to us at the LPD about his charges." Now, a smart criminal might lay low to avoid drawing attention to themselves, but this video is not about smart criminals. And as it turns out, Pugh was not done talking about what he considered to be a grave injustice of an unflattering photo. So after Pugh's mugshot and selfie began circulating on the internet, he decided to call into Lima's classic rock station, 104.9 The Eagle, to tell his side of the story. Now, the local station spoke to Pugh for its Idiot of the Day segment, and as it turns out, Pugh had the honor of being the first idiot to ever be interviewed on air.
Where are you at again, Chip? Right now? Yeah. Actually, I'm sitting in a bunker right next to Chapo Guzman. We're trying to dig a tunnel and get to McDonald's.
But sadly, Pugh's run from the law did not last very long. The next morning, Pugh was arrested 800 miles away in Century, Florida. Because at heart, we all knew that this Ohio man was really a Florida man.
In Ohio, northern Florida, I mean, let's be honest, they're really like angling for that. Weird stuff happens here.
But ladies and gentlemen, there is a happy ending to this story. When Pugh was arrested in Florida, he got to take his mugshot over again. Though I have to admit, I don't think that that's much of an improvement over his first one. Now, sometimes criminals are incredibly stupid, but sometimes the police are just really, really smart. And such was the case when the FBI actually created a fake messaging app and then got a whole bunch of criminals to use the fake encrypted messaging app. Because most of the cases we've talked about today involve criminals using smartphones to tell on themselves. But when it comes to the more savvy criminals who are actually trying not to get caught committing crimes, these folks often turn to encrypted messaging to cover their tracks and shield their communications from the prying eyes of law enforcement. That's because when messages are encrypted, it's nearly impossible for law enforcement to learn what criminal groups are doing. So when faced with encrypted messaging, what is law enforcement to do? Well, simple. Develop their own fake encrypted messaging app, trick criminal organizations into downloading the fake app, and wait for the incriminating evidence to just roll in. And that was the work of what was known as Operation Trojan Shield, a successful multi-year electronic sting operation led by the FBI in conjunction with the DEA, Europol, the European Police Agency, and law enforcement groups from 16 other countries. Because in 2018, the FBI and its international partners shut down Phantom Secure, a Canadian-based company that provided secure communications to high-level drug traffickers and other criminal organizations. The company would purchase smartphones, wipe them clean of all traditional functions like texting, internet, and GPS, and then it installed encrypted email systems that could only communicate with other Phantom Secure phones. And if a customer was arrested, Phantom Secure would destroy all data on the phone. Now, after the feds shut down Phantom Secure, the CEO, Vincent Ramos, was then indicted by a grand jury along with his colleagues and would eventually plead guilty to a raft of charges related to drug trafficking. And with Phantom Secure gone, criminals were in search of a new encrypted messaging app. And that's where Operation Trojan Shield comes in. Now, at the beginning of the operation, the FBI recruited an unnamed confidential human source who had been developing a next-generation secure messaging platform for the criminal underworld called Anon. Now, the app would only work on specially modified cell phones similar to those created by Phantom Secure. But what the users didn't know, the mystery developer had engineered Anon to secretly forward law enforcement a copy of every message that was sent on the platform. After Anon's launch in October 2019, the FBI convinced a few criminals to tell others about the phones. And soon enough, the app caught on like wildfire. In an 18-month period, law enforcement provided nearly 12,000 Anon phones through unsuspecting middlemen to more than 300 criminal syndicates in more than 100 countries. And many of the criminals assured each other that the app was incredibly safe. But rather than being safe, police in real time could read criminals discussing targeted hits, drug shipments, and other crimes, with users making no attempt to hide criminal plots with code words. And between October 2019 and June 2021, authorities collected more than 27 million messages in 45 languages. And armed with this treasure trove of incriminating data, the FBI and its 16 international partners carried out raids in their respective countries. In a 48-hour period, 9,000 officers deployed worldwide to make arrests and search more than 700 locations. According to the FBI, more than 32 tons of drugs were seized, killjoys, along with 250 firearms and $48 million in cash. And more than 50 secret drug labs were dismantled, including one of the largest clandestine labs in German history. In total, Operation Trojan Shield resulted in 800 arrests, including 500 in the 48-hour period. And then finally, I feel like I shouldn't have to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this anyway. Don't live stream your crimes. Because many of the people on our list found themselves in legal trouble because they shared evidence of crimes after the fact. But in the case of Tim Gionnet, better known as Baked Alaska, this famed online provocateur has built himself up quite a rap sheet by live streaming his crimes in real time. This idiot, Baked Alaska, is a far-right internet troll who openly aligned himself with the white nationalist Groyper movement, even appearing at the infamous 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. At the time, Mr. Alaska went viral for getting pepper sprayed while marching with the white supremacists in Charlottesville as he begged people around him to keep live streaming as he kneeled on the ground, milk dropping down from his face.
I got f***ing peppers, I need milk! I need milk! I need milk! I need milk!
I got it.
Keep streaming!
I got it, mate.
Keep streaming me, someone.
I'm streaming.
So get someone to stream me.
I got it, Bakes.
Baked
These
Alaska's
fucking morons.
racist advocacy and promotion of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories caused him to be banned from a variety of platforms, including Twitter, YouTube, PayPal, and Uber. Now, despite this, Baked Alaska's live streaming antics only increased, and he often filmed himself conducting all manner of illegal things, but it reached an apotheosis on January 6, 2021, when, as you know, supporters of Donald Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol in an effort to prevent the certification of Joe Biden's election.
We're storming the Capitol! It's a revolution!
And this is where Baked Alaska's live streaming caused himself and his allies the most legal trouble to date. On January 6, Baked Alaska began his hour-long live stream outside the U.S. Capitol before eventually finding himself inside the building and interviewing participants.
Yeah, we need to get our boy Donald J. Trump into office. Yeah, come Let me do that real quick.
At one point, Baked Alaska turned to the camera to show his face. We are in the Capitol building. 1776 will commence again. And despite what looks like participation in the coup attempt, including shouting anti-Semitic and QAnon dog whistles while urging others to remain in the building, Baked
Fucking
Alaska
trash
told
human
police officers
beings.
that he was a member of the media. Court documents also state that Baked Alaska said on camera, "Occupy the Capitol, let's go. We ain't leaving this bitch." You know, just your regular, everyday, legitimate political discourse. Now, days after the video was posted, Baked Alaska was identified and arrested on multiple counts, including unlawful entry, violent entry, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. But in a spectacular self-own for the far right, the FBI then used Baked Alaska's live stream to successfully arrest dozens of rioters captured on film, including Baked Alaska himself. So the takeaway here is if you're going to be a racist, treasonous dirtbag troll who tries to overthrow the government, you should definitely live stream it. Your friends are going to love it.
I need milk! I need milk! I need milk!
So the bottom line is you should never use your phone to document your crimes, but you should definitely use your phone to get delicious meals delivered straight to your door with today's sponsor, HelloFresh.
I'm not getting sponsored, so I'm sorry. No.
New World in 2022. Oh boy, there's been a lot of conversation about this game. A lot of people talking about New World. That
I don't.
Out of the 32 cons I listed at the end of that review, they've already fixed or are in the process of fixing 18 of them, with a few things I'm not sure of. That's absolutely massive progress. And on top of that, they've also added the Tempest Heart Expedition, which in my opinion is one of the most visually impressive dungeons I've ever seen in an MMO.
thank you. Fucking thank you. Because everybody said that I was on copium, or like, cause so basically, New World asked me, they were like me, Shroud, and fucking, Rich. They're like, did you guys want to run the new dungeon with us? It's like, yeah, sure, why not? All right, fine. So we got together and we did this on stream, and we ran through the new dungeon, and I thought it was great, and everybody was like, oh man, he's fucking paid. Like, number one, we didn't get any fucking money out of this. Number fucking two is that it looked really cool. It looked awesome. So, I did have to say though, is that the Tempest Heart Expedition was a lot like buying a $8 million mansion and filling it up with Goodwill furniture, because all the mobs were still kind of boring in the dungeon outside of a handful of different things. Like whenever you have to take like that thing and go to the cannons, that was really cool. But especially the beginning of it was like just like any other dungeon. It was super boring in my opinion. But yeah, it does look good. I do think it looks good. So I'm glad to see Lazy Peon also saying what's fucking true.
Barnacles and Black Powder Expedition, which I haven't gotten around to trying yet. They've added 3v3 Arena, the Blunderbuss and Void Gauntlet weapons, with the Great Sword right around the corner. They completely revamped the endgame progression system and added a thing called Gypsum and Expertise, which is a massive improvement over the old system.
Big good.
You no longer need keys to enter dungeons, you can just enter them and enjoy the game. They added
Imagine being able to just play the game.
A new trade skill called Music, which is a nice social activity that brings players together with the benefit of group buffs.
I didn't expect this to be as funny as it was. Like, this shit was really, really funny. Like, you go to the town and there's some dipshit who's trying to play the song, it's wrong, and like somebody's talking shit about him, it's great.
And the economy is in a much better place now. So what we're going to do now is head over to the PTR to check out the new level 1 to 25 leveling experience, which has been completely reworked with revamped starting towns and the addition of the Great Sword. Here we are on the New World PTR to check out the new player experience. Spawned on the beach near Monarch's Bluffs, which is apparently completely different now. I'm really looking forward to exploring it. Bunch of other players checking out the PTR as well. As we're going with Great Sword, we're piling all of our stats into strength. Wholesome chat. I just want to play the new content. I love New World. Don't we all? Since day one here. Feels good, man. This area is different.
Yeah, I think that New World is one of the games, like, New World is lucky in the fact that the people that like the game actually want to see it succeed. Where it's like, in WoW, the people actually actively want WoW to die. They fucking hate WoW, they're tired of it, and they want it to be over. Like, please kill this fucking game. and people feel the same way about Lost Ark, right? Because it's got pay-to-win elements, is that people just go crazy.
It's not elements. It is pay to win. Big
Yeah,
difference.
they hate these games, but I think New World has.
Let's see if they're home. I'll be
there are
right
people
back,
who
and then
are
I'll be back to
indifferent or
playing.
Make fun of it, but I don't think that there are people that have like the same like dislike for
But
it.
be right back.
Maybe at the beginning a little bit, but not as much now. The same dislike
Just in
for
case
it,
I'm gone.
like what they had at the beginning.
I remember it. I don't remember fighting.
Actually, I'll leave this on. Maybe it'll kill it when I'm gone.
Back at launch.
Yeah,
We've
this
already
is
got
new.
our first amulet. Straight
You do
away, the
fight one
beginner
corrupted
quest
mob, though.
rewards seem different than launch. Going into another corrupted area.
I may have to
Wait,
retry
it's a
New World.
different mob type? I don't think I've ever seen a mob that looks like this before in New World. It's like a female corrupted sailor. You know the game struggled with mob diversity at launch? When as soon as you see a mob that looks different, you immediately notice it. Yo, what's that in the distance? It's a castle.
It's a good
that
point.
wasn't there before, was it? So it doesn't take long at all before you start to feel the effects of this new player experience. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's a big fucking factor. Is like just making the world look better, adding in different mob types.
Click the shit
etc.
there.
And like most games reuse mob types. It's not a big deal. Like I mean, like in Lost Ark, they do it all the time. I mean, Egrexion is just Verdas. And then like there's also Chromanium, and they just call it lava and Kungolanium. Okay, yeah, we get it. It's the same fucking turtle.
What's this? Great sword. Yes, please. That's what we want. Dude, look at it. It's so big, but it's clipping right through my shield. Goodbye, shield. You had a good run. How much damage does it do? Feels chonky. First ability, let's go with crosscut. Crosscut. So during the start,
I'll have to say that I think the great sword swings too fast. I would like if the great sword did more damage per attack, but swung slower. It's really, really big. Yeah, I would just like that more. I think that would be better.
experience, you basically find one of each weapon just laying around on the floor from various weapon chests.
Yeah, I like that. That's
so
cool.
you don't have to wait a long time to start training the weapon mastery that you're interested in. New ability, Relentless Rush. Let me guess, it rushes me forward. Ooh, it rushes me forward with a spin. Quest complete, level 7, new chest piece. Straight away, we're looking like an adventurer. Oh wow, if we look in the distance from here, we can see
you
the
see
new
the castle.
Monarch's Bluffs.
Yeah, see, like, that's badass, right? Like, this is the kind of stuff that the game needs.
Ugh. 1 point whatever that is leftover bubbled until 20, and I have a mount, and I can fucking leave this area. I think I can leave this area. I don't know what the level 20 quest is for Blood Elf Paladins. I might have to stay here for a little bit to do that shit. Smash. What did my sword skill go to? Is it fucking done yet? Yeah, it's done.
That's still recharging.
Ugh. I should talk to Fuzzy real quick, see if he's available. Have you seen the game? It's on Steam. I found it. The Rift Breaker.
No, I see an ad for this. Maybe I just saw it on the front page or something like that. I've heard of it, but I've never.
I got it a couple days ago. It's really fucking fun.
Is it just I couldn't tell.
It's like vampires or V Rising thing, you remember? But instead, you're like in a mech on a planet that you can customize it and mod it, and I'll mod each weapon, all that shit. So it's a twin stick shooter that has the V Rising in it. It gets extremely complicated extremely quickly.
Yeah, I remember this thing now. It had a hilariously bad trailer.
Did it? I don't know. I just tried it because I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks interesting, and it's actually really good.
It was just more that the trailer suffered from how do I put this? Weightless animation.
I know what you're referring to. It felt like nothing had impact or weight to it. Instead, it just felt like everything was slightly
like
floating.
The lady drops in with the giant mech.
Yeah,
and
and it's just like
made out of styrofoam. And I'm
yeah,
like,
you're like, there's no real weight to that, no impact, no shake,
Yeah.
nothing move. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
By the way,
I
did
mean,
you
it was
know?
fine. It was like something about demons and assembling a fucking. I assume it's like the opening cutscene or whatever.
Well, it's not really demons. That's not. It's just you're on an alien planet, so you're having to like deal with alien flora and fauna. But also, apparently nobody knew this. Over a year ago, Blizzard hired a guy named Hurricane who does animations by himself. They won't, of course, reveal how much they paid him, but everybody's like, this guy made 6 figures doing this. He made a Wrath, a trailer for the release of Classic Wrath coming out with all in-game assets in Unreal Engine 5. And it is goddamn amazing. And he did it all by himself, which is why it took him over 300 days, which, I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna bitch at him for that. Fucking hell yeah, I know that's gonna take some work. But let me pull this up, because it's goddamn amazing. Oh yeah, it's on the actual World of Warcraft trailer. It's on the World of Warcraft page. There it is.
Twitch Discord too. Where the fuck is my epic? There it is.
I'll look into Gloomhaven. It's, I don't know if it's one I like kind of want to play, but I'll look at it, see.
It's the board game thing, like a legacy board game or whatever, but it's the digital version of
Yeah, I know of it. You should watch that.
Absolutely try it. Give me a second. I'm sure I'm gonna escape from it. I don't know when this reset happens, but I'm over here just like a day or two ago. Store. Games there. Games. Gloomhaven. Let's go to the 29th. Give me the fucking game. Oh, and then I have to do this whole purchase thing, and they send me the fucking email invoice for it.
Oh yeah.
I need to get closer. That's still recharging.
Oh, my head. Hmm?
It's too far away.
Yeah.
I need to get closer. I can't cast that yet.
The lighting engine does not play nicely with WoW assets, but that's fine.
No, it works perfectly for what they're doing. Because it's supposed to be dark and brutal looking at this art.
Nah, I disagree from like a design standpoint. I think because they're using WoW assets, they have been tailored to be in a brighter setup because of the painted nature of everything and the innate Unreal 5 shit or Unreal 4, whatever this is.
I think it might be 4. I thought it was
defaults
5.
to a realistic sort of lighting setup,
Probably
which
4.
is just not good for WoW assets. They're not meant to be seen with shadows this heavy and lighting this natural, which is not a fault of either the engine or the assets. It's just I don't think this animation's bad, like it's fine, but I don't think the lighting does us any favors. Yeah, the particle effects look really nice, but
Oh yeah. Ah, good old Army of the Dead. The old version of the 10-minute cooldown that would insta-kill people because it was brutal as fuck. I love the fact that during the animation he has Arthas do the thing where he adjusts his right glove, which is something he constantly did while he was just in idle mode. It was an old joke because when the ICC first came out, whenever after you pulled Arthas, because he'd be standing up there, he would just sit there and adjust the glove over and over again because there was like a broken animation loop that just kept going. So it was always an old joke like, hey, I bet that right glove really needs to be fixed or something. There's something wrong with it. But they did fix it where he stopped doing it all the time. But then he added that in there. I was like, ah, yes. A fine connoisseur of old memes. Which is funny because I think in Heroes of the Storm they made him do that too. If he stood idle long enough, he just put down this, like, he would put the sword in the ground and just start fucking with his right glove again.
Hey, I found out where that quote came from, by the way.
Where was it?
Ner'zhul from Shadow and Barrowbrands when he does the Wall of the Dead.
Oh yeah, the Wall of Bone and Shadow.
Bone and
Shadow, yeah.
Army of the Dead, alright.
Yeah, and you have to kill one to get through the wall. That's what it was.
I was like, we heard this constantly, and not just constantly, it was spammed. Like, we heard that all the fucking time. Because Shadow Moon Burial Grounds is one of the faster dungeons when you were trying to rush through on,
Well, it was one of the faster and one of the hardest, so it was a good place to wipe at Ner'zhul and have to listen to it over and over again.
Yep.
Speaking of that, so in Dragonflight, they're bringing a whole bunch of old dungeons. They're only putting like 4 of the current ones into the Mythic Plus rotation.
Sure.
Guess which ones are included in the Mythic Plus rotation from old dungeons?
Is it from like any X pack?
Yeah. Like, dude, Scarlet Monastery is coming back. Like, the revamped Scarlet Monastery from Kata.
What was it?
Shadow Moon Burial Grounds coming. Well, this is just the first one's like. Also, you got that one's coming back. They're bringing Skyreach in, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, please don't!" And everybody's like, "It's funny because Bellular is laughing. Goes, I love Skyreach, and I'm gonna love watching all these little babies get fucking wrecked by it." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Also, like,
yeah,
most of the classes
Skyreach
have a
will
lot more
fuck
movement
you."
abilities than back in Draenor did, because like a lot of people would honestly wipe on the fucking air puzzle like right before that one fucking or
Well,
right after the second boss. But also the second boss is gonna kill so many people because they're just not gonna LOS behind the pillar again. It's like,
well, yeah. Well, okay. So think about it. In the Mythic Plus, the first or not the first boss, the second boss where it's the giant robot where you have to soak the beams, otherwise it powers the boss and he does a giant AOE hit. So many people are gonna be like, "Oh, I'll just do this on plus 20." I'm like, "Yeah, good luck with the beams." What?
that shit doesn't waste you.
That and one other dungeon from WoD that's coming back that I'm just like, "Oh my god, this will instantly own people who don't know what the fuck they're doing or try to zerg it."
Bio whatever.
Yeah. The one that at the end it has that giant plant thing with you don't actually fight, you have to protect the NPCs and you have to like run around and kill all the little plants, all that shit. I'm like, oh god, or even the first boss on that where it's like the big dude has the water bubbles coming towards him.
Water bubbles, yeah, you gotta be real careful with that shit. Hell,
The second boss with the fucking the council fight. There's 3 of them.
Was like a huge,
There's one guy who heals, one guy who puts the debuffs out, and the other one puts like the thorn patch. If you stand in for 2 seconds, you die.
People are gonna get fucked over too. God, I can only imagine with like quaking and shit like that. Quaking.
Dude, no, the last boss. No, the last boss, Tyrannical.
The fire lady.
Yeah.
The
fire lady
with quaking is just gonna fucking micro stun you while you're trying to jump over the fucking fire waves and just die. Like,
or the last boss on Tyrannical at like plus 20. Like,
yeah, with all the fucking ads, like, nope, good luck. I hope your tank has fucking multiple cooldowns to cycle.
I hope your tank built to actually tank and not just do damage. Why? Because it about to die.
You fucking done, kid.
But yeah, they're bringing back Scarlet Monastery. The one I'm really looking forward to is they're bringing back Skullomance from fucking WoD. Or Kata. Yeah. Well, they're bringing back one from Kata. You remember... The first boss in that, or sorry, the first boss is Rage, whatever. It's the fucking lich that you have to kill and then kill his box thing before the ice wall gets to you, because he'll just insta kill anybody that gets hit by the ice wall. Yeah. Well, the second boss is it's the giant bone skeleton, the Rattlegore that people haven't had to do right in like 8 years. Because everybody had to have one of the bone shields on them. Otherwise, when he threw a bone spike at you, it just insta-killed. Yeah. That hasn't been a thing in like 8 years. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for the tank to be like, oh, I'm a tank, I'm fine, I don't need to grab one of those. Like, oh no, it does percentage base. What? Insta-delete.
The other thing too is that people can be dicks about that, I believe, and you can pick up multiple bone shields that you don't need.
Yeah, you can.
It's one for everybody, and then a spare, I think, in case of emergencies.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can't grab more than one. Why? Because he only puts them out every so often, so you have to literally... Maybe you can get away with one and then playing catch up and only one person dying, but that's it. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, because I think, I don't think Rattlegore has an enrage. He's got, he just starts firing too many, right? Like,
he just starts firing more and more bone spikes.
Yeah, it's like one bone spike, and then one bone spike, and then I think 2 bone spikes, and then like 3 bone spikes. And it's
also, he just hits incredibly fucking hard on the tank. You remember, he just fucking wastes the tank over and over again.
It's so fucking loud. Help!
What?
I booted up Gloomhaven to make sure that I didn't have to get anything out of the way, and the ambiance music is already like too loud. Gonna slap this kitty. Kitty slapping time.
By the way, you want to play like a fucking TFT, then some ARAM or something?
Yeah, maybe. I need to finish this load. But I'll play TFT afterwards.
Why is she calling?
Wanted to try the new sets
Oh.
more.
I'm out of range.
Kitty's got a foot. Kitty got the toes. Tickle a kitty toe. Look at the foot beans. Poof, poof, poof.
Also, let me turn off